Assalamu alaikum, bari ngolungal kontong gobe dauda anibe watu watu. Ya, kontrol nasional bismillah na programo mingga sudah jang loko ningi antemben sita jamano civic education. Lengal bani malam Mustafa jambe membe siring programo kuna yintembeng. Yo, komen dalta kakenya men loko ningi antemben sita kamol sudon fe mili alam ko ikana kadeng kula mimbe dending kachala kula mimbe dending ole molbe sula yato Gambia bari jama ka vole ko se bole ni nyoy mole nyo kontom potom membe sini programo ko manal bade mala Mustafa Jamme membe sini programo kunna so ni afal membe fe alal de maro to ngeso don fe nse bula ini mole nyo kontom ni obareje nsina dum kacha kunkono yo brum sal sa freda brin nse bole ni mole nyo kontom salif mane
yo assalamu alaikum mbadi lamoyr lalu mbadi njiber lalu yo assalamu alaikum Mustafa assalamu alaikum Mr Jeng assalamu alaikum Mr Toure mbe mobe kontonna al tolu anal kontol alhamdulillah rabbil alamin bi afale ala nibo sibiti dola prunga na jang nali kacha and Mustafa baraka bake for inviting me to this platform once again
ina marabake sal yo burun sene defana ya karamba ngamara nyinnon sinya foloti nse itantu ngejeyi ngebule ni mole nyo kontong ni oboreje nsina dung kacha kunkono modol bi janne bar ngamre drop tole so yo skaramba budum ibisimla
yo baraka bake Mustafa mbe kontonna bake mbe doku nyol fanan kontonna sal aning Mr Jeng mbe lamolal ning jubelal fanan be kontonna mba fole ya baraka bake nse oda bake yem fanan kumandi ngana ngakafu alla kacha kam kadu alla programme lodula e mo BCO kadu civic education wo kumara bakele na kacha kono and ngamira chosano to molu daldal ka kacha banda baro barbiru nyim fana isafo no banda balomo banda ba kacha lo me yalom simbela fahamo asayir wandi and ni kafu nyamen lamoy ni njube lalu wolle fango be wolle la jero fango si fanuntel diamu laldi so mbe mo be tan lambe mo be jayla wato menta kana ka kafu programme ma nyin kamma mbezi ku karanyobul
ni malaba ke karamba sol bon nga nuyo Sol yang madega. Oh, okay. Sol is gone, you know. Sol, internet bu living legi, you know. You need to have an internet connection. For strong. So, Lamin, once again, warm welcome on here, Sky Power. Like I said, you know, you've been here before, so just say hello to our viewers and listeners, and then we pick it up from there. Lamin Tama.
Hello. I don't know if you can hear me. Good afternoon wherever you are, or good evening wherever you are, or good morning if you're in the United States, especially the west coast of the United States. Welcome to everyone. Thank you very much for bringing me on the platform of Sky Power. Again, I feel privileged that I get invited to come here and share my experiences with the audience. Thank you very much to the team behind Sky Power. Thank you very much to every viewer who's tuned in to listen to our contributions to the program. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Lamin. Let's see. I think we're expecting Saul. Saul, I think he's struggling. So we've got Duty here. So Duty Yotam, I think we are in the introductory stage. So Munanya buying and you deglu kati accetan kati chichamono jini Duty.
jërëjëf Mr Jammeh di sant di gërëm képp koo xam ne mu ngi seetaan programme bi si jamono bi surtout ñoo xam ne fans lañ soppe programme lañ di nuyu suma naataango ñi nga xam ne ñoom laa fi fekka it's an honor, it's a pleasure mbégte ak kontaante pour join programme bi
jërëjëf Dudu Sol bon ñu bàyyi la nga nuyoo yaa ngi dugg ak génn di xanaa nanga war a ragal Sol
Mane, suma headset be mo nekk di am issues because man get struggle pour dégala sa it's like living from afar. I don't know what's going on to be honest.
Okay, ñu bàyyi la nga nuyoo.
Yena ma dégga.
Waaw ñu la dégga you can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, why man get struggle pour dégalen I don't know.
I see.
Yeah, I can hear you. If you can hear me, you just it's the usual introduction like, newbie.
Okay. Yeah, magi nuyu ñep, magi nuyu Karamba Mr. Touré. I've got great respect for him and comme ni ma ko di waxe toujours UDP dal moy suma model fofu. And Dudu Jai dama ko di follow a lot. I've never met him. I think he has, very good political maturity. They follow, his contributions, and he's someone I've got some respect for as well. Mr. Mane mom Khalifa la so mom ci kër gi la bokar. Ana Lamin Tamba ñëw na da mom dafa daw.
Lamin is here.
I have to come out and communicate.
Yeah, Lamin is here. But so, I think he's here. But what we'll do, Legi, but Sal, maybe kila, nsinete follow kang. Because near the program nga wuli nyine kama, kuruka coming for civic education or kanyo fahamdulang kanyo konoto dia kula mimbe dending Gambia banko kang, ko sifa o sifala. For nyatuta lombang for development olom for kuo mia long running adama dingola kule nyoma ngalaf ko wala kachajang because civic education near the Gambia abe lakring bake le mulla faham rola bundal so kamala nga folo ko nimi fango kan man boundaries ro jam momo e kan fo akumada bake because nyim programo you got few groups on bejana mi alon ko kanyimbe yelamani audio ti ki molie Gambia and in platform audio WhatsApp group also so wala katin nan kalafi mainly put the message ye futa molang kalafi kafoni local languages la English kalafi angale kan otala bake ko kono mandinga kan surwa kan fula kan dobije Suleiman elate fula kan moyle so kan wo kan the local languages wolka kuma bakele isaje the message ning ay futa molla because civic education ni ka fo molle ba e ka foni language minna the Gambian mass inyanta faham lale so ni kumbo nyawa nakacha ko bi ngol lafta nga min jibe coming along the current state of affairs minne caring Gambia especially ninata fanna mi alonko we'll call it the polarizing disconnect between politicians and in carte failal Gambia bankoka so bi ni sal bi ni benyim folanye the polarizing ni sa fono nye maninga kangoto bi lafte ngol bonni nye nyoto nakacha console sal.
Okay, abarakabake Mustafa, abarakabake all colleagues min benyim platform to be to engage ourselves and engage na momi bebe la moy kan na ben jibela ning kashat kuma bad nga start kacha fangola title to mimo the polarizing disconnect between politics, politicians, voter, komoko ngamune mean. All right. Ne tuwabol moy ko polarizing. Wolom nyenti ko fengol min nyanta chokila nyobale be jamfa kanyol. So niento la mainstream political jibe, political mu politicality, politicianol mu politicianolty, votal fana mu votal leti, bari keno min be nyul tema, amanke kene nakirindi be jamfa kanyolale because ibika nyomoy. So abe important about ke purunga understand ni stakeholders mini alon ko wolle be na Gambia politiko kono wala mol mini alon ko ibe kumayaring na Gambia politiko kono munati na warning political disconnect o munati na warning carte file disconnect munati la cool man tara sorry nyokan bari la cool ka jamfa la nyokan ne drone so jamfa nyolo dun nyomoy balia ka wala sambana nyomoy balia dun aka abika progress sambana aka commencer o drone sambana so wala na bi kacha ndebe la fa pour nga understand ning listeners ade mini ben jibe kam fana mini be lamoy kan fanko ning stakeholders mini be ning politician o aning carte file mune atene la ko jamfata nyola ila miro le jamfata nyola bang fo ika itol dama be la football la le imela football o sonyoka fo momo ni la game o momo kela interest le kanta bang wala ni la cool man sonyoka yo ndala telefona nga jibe from munom nyin jamfa nyolo be ay mune sabu na political arena ay mune ken na political nyin jamfa nyolo mimbe keren disconnect because babol ni ame ko damin disconnect wolom fengoti mi alon ka nyanta connect la bara man connect so nyin disconnection o mimbe keren ndol nyanta understand la nyaade nga understand fana nimmolu nyanta tarla on the same page nyaade pour mbeka politico je ko politico nyanta kala nyami andung ngamini ke politico fana nyaton kayala fana politico je ko ndol ngaje nyami yo mini be mararim palasol fana na banko kan wol fana yaje ko ndol nim politicianolu nin carte failal be nga politico nyami fana ka je wala nyam so nte abente interest la ngaji be from Gambia living standards be Gambia la income per capita Gambia la development activities ala healthcare so nga safe janne ko the gap between the stakeholders has never been this worse and influenced by all sorts of things including money you know the political makeup the National Assembly makeup etc so nilaftaning subject jibe and after nga jibe from a wide range of areas pour nga understand because at the end of the day mbebe wala kekan pour ka jibe nyin disconnect munom what is the nature of the disconnect ni mumunati ngamune mean you know how does it look like wala abe ani munem de muluni yaring ni wato kono na political na banko kan ani when is our politics in the political in disconnect yenyo soto nyaadile how can we collectively reduce nin disconnect pour if it's about more communication ngaw jibe if it's about the political arena among fair nyami ngo fanan jibe is it about more messages before voting and what they actually do need in the household wala be nin disconnect cause bang we don't know but be I'm curious wala nyinda ente kumpale pour nga understand munom nyin disconnect and say munekeno in place pour ka reduce
anybody about Sal Karamba your thoughts yeah Mira what is the problem munom problem about nying disconnect so coming Salia for nyame itela jero to coming topic title for nyame Karamba right Karamba seems to be akawa do good lale but okay maybe sinanang Dudu you are on the ground in the Gambia Dudu ja so yes. I know hamnane understand some of the sources so the political disconnect bini what are your thoughts because you belong to you are a sympathizer or you belong to a political party bo hamne mungi Gambia so we want to know disconnect misunderstanding the level of understanding what are your thoughts what do you think my problem be Gambia so ñëwé ci politique ñaka understandante
Well, once again, Santala, gërëm la bu baax baax ci li ma invite dalal ma si show bi di nuyu suma naataango yi Mr. Karamba, Brother Lamin Tamba, Brother Suleiman. It's an honor to be in their midst. Ko mbégte la kontante la ma bokk ak ñoom programme. I'm hoping I will learn not one or two, but so many things from the program, and if I listen to them keenly. The topic is very important. Léegi-léegi nit ñi they tend to take politics lightly. Mooy luy doxal dëkka, the president, is a politician. All these cabinet appointees, are based on politics. Nit ki nga xam ne am nga yaakaar ci moom, óolu nga ko, gëm nga ne dina loyal ci yow pour mu saaf. Loolu doo ko mën a detach from politics. Lu bari in our way of life, politics is part of it. So it's very important you discuss ko. And liñ xam ci politique ak liñ expect ak li nekk di am. Foog naa ne disconnect bi ci loolu la moo ñëw. But first and foremost, man suma belief when it comes to politics dama gëm ne ñetti mbir la. Number one, it has to be knowledge based. Foog nga am xam-xam ci looy def. Li tax nga taxawal parti da nga bugg a amee dëkka. Dëkka nag doo ko mun a yóbbu without xam-xam. So politics knowledge is very important. Foog nga xam dëkka bi, xam lan mooy problème si, and nga mun a offer solutions foo ko mun a yóbbu. That is one thing. Ñaareel bi, it's all about nga am strategy xam-xam boobu naka ngay stratégiser lan ay pexe ba mun a àgga si nit ñi ñu mun laa déglu déggala te xam fan nga leen bëgg a yóbbu loolu mooy tax nit ñi di la mun a nangul. ñetteel bi, it deals with mass mobilization maanaam lu ñu am mbooloo mooy doole ku la ëppa mbooloo kooku moo la ëppa doole surtout ñun suñ electoral law si raw gàddu la lu ñu xamee si simple majority ku la ëppale benn carte sax moom mooy am ndam. Kon ñun politique Gambia dañ ko war a tënka si ñetta yi politique du saaga du xasante warta nekka luy create violence di social nit ki lii moo ci gën a bari nag waaye dama gëm ne misconception la ñu bari understand uñ lan mooy politique di nga gis nit ku mu def dara sax ñu ne politique la mu am wax yu mu wax ñu ne politique la déedéet we trying to stay in politics here loolu benn mbir la that's the political aspect of it. Then next nga ñëw si politician bi individual la nit la balaa politics am na ni mel mu nekk ci politics am na ni mel su bàyyee politics am na ni mel loolu attitude la jikko la ci nit ki moo xam politicien la or not waaye mu ngi ci biir politique moo tax nit ñi sol lens boo xam ne di ko xoolee politicien waaye moom moo war a dóor dinaa mu laajte moom mooy kan lan la bugga ak naka la war a jëflante ak nit ñi because du ma gëm ne nit wax dara mu génn ci wala mu def ne ñu ne politicien la moo tax jikko la ci moom moo xam politique la or without politique belief la loo xam ne moo tax moom mu doxalee noonu waaye li ëppa ci politicien si ok nit ñi duñ ñu dee trust man si laa bokk as a politicien duñ ñu dee óolu in a sense like talk is cheap wax dafa yomba li ñoo diggee tey ak ni ñoo ñëw mel ëllëg dafa ute yii yëpp tam dafa am reasons maybe later dinañ àgga foofu I'm just trying to define here. Third category bi mooy di voters mooy di people ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo am doole ñoo laa mun a jox carte bi nga soxla to vote you into office li nga soxla nekkut ci yow loo am mooy sa xam-xam nga am sa pexe ak naka ngay demee si nit ñi jaay leen yow sa idea lan nga soxla ci ñoom pour convince leen ñoom ñu sànnil la carte ñii ñooy di voters ñoom ñoo dee gën a soona because yow soo soxlee di nga def everything pour ñu elect la into office waaye di moment nga falu are you giving back to the people lii moom mooy laajte bi suñ bàyyee ñëpp ñu gis la óolu la ñu jox la office su fekkee ne dañ la dénk place ne la liggéeyal man always dama ko def ma ne assessment ñetti weer 6 months nañ xool lan la liggéey lan la fa fekka ak moom lan la def pour yokka ko and nit ñi ñoo ko mën a seede ngir njëriñ buñ cee am and the outcome of that office wala that institution waaye fii nit ñi ñu ngee man place for years gisuñ ci benn yokkute and people are not seeing themselves reflecting in liñ la dénk ak li nga liggéey man dama de ooye loolu as failure because soo ñëwee fekk fa level 1 war ngaa def effort mu dem to level 2 mënuloo koo yóbbu to level 2 maintainal level 1 nga wane ne yow sa effort foofu la am waaye retrogression dañ ko dee gis fii lu bari ñu dénk la place instead of yow nga isi dara lu njëriñ nit ñi place bi amul si rek comme dafa càngde waaye nit ñi ñu ngi gën a soona problems yaa ngi gën a yokku I will label that as failure so ñetta yi I think ne lii lañ war a xool njëkka but léegi suñ buggee wax ne the polarization of it ni ma ko mën a firee ci olof mooy li ñu xaajale bi li ci ëpp ci politique ñaar la dee nekka ki farak nguur ak koo xam ne moom si opposing end bi la nekka bugg a hold government accountable ak koo xam ne yoonam nekkul ci politique waaye fii focus bi mooy ku support nguur ak koo xam ne mu ngi bugg a put checks and balances on nguur lii moo de nekka di polarization lii dafa war a continuer in every democracy in every setup foog mu am ñu ànd ak système ak ñoo xam ne faraluñ système bi et ñëpp mënuñoo ànd ci benn système parce que amuñ one party rule système so lii dafa war a am léegi lan moo tax nekkut di am lan a create this disconnect den foofu la ñoo xool internally dëkk bu nekk cosaanam dëkk bu nekk ak sa loi dëkk bu nekk sa nit ñi ñuñ mel waaye ñun suñ politique bokk na lii create di disconnect mooy tribe number one tribe plays a key role nit ki si tribe bu mu bokka even either as a candidate or as a voter daf dee mun a reflect daf dee mun a am impact dafa tax nga gis the right candidate nga bàyyi ko fa because maa kii ñoo bokk tribe mooy tax nga jox ko karta di nga gis nit ki instead of li mu war a deliver pour ñëpp dina am narrow minded maanaam mu am ci xel bu gàtta ba di focus ci fi tribe dina feeñ ci waxam dina feeñ ci jëfam dina feeñ ci li moo yëngatu ba nit ñi gis ko ci loolu benn la ñaareel tam region plays a part comme soo xoolee politique bi ni mel Banjul is different from KM is different from West Coast is different from other regions tam loolu tam it plays a part loo xam ne dafa create a disconnect people are not only looking into programs and policies lan nga am pour dëkk bi lan nga mun a def loo mun a wecci because gis na lot of intellectuals when they throw their weight on the political arena nit ñi dañ leen dee ignore instead ñu votal ñoo xam ne sax they cannot deliver amuñ di technical know how and liñ yaakaar si ñoom tam duñ ko dee def but suñ laajtee ñu joxaat leen ko so these are the factors yoo xam ne mu ngi create that disconnect in our midst leneen tam loo xam ne bokk na ci mooy religion it plays a part la nit ki christian la o muslim la wala ñu ne kii gëmul dara di nga gis ku ñëw loo xam ne am na very good agenda philosophie baax na li moo jaay programme and policies dina isi yokkute da ngaa day ñëw ne ki nga xam ne du dee julli ki nga xam ne du dee dem church ki nga xam ne nangam and loolu li moo create mooy character assassination another point mooy finance xaalis loo xam ne dafa create a lot of this connect ñu bari la deviate ñu bari la divert ci loo xam ne mooy seen goal mooy seen agenda because of yenn struggle su nit ki di am amut tam support because survival foo jaar nga dunda surtout when you have a family so fi nga expect support soo ko amee or it's not enough daf dee mun a twist ñu bari foofu la ñu bari start di question about loyalty about integrity about nit ki loo xam ne moom la jaayoon to the public but this becomes a life of survival you have your needs am nga ay soxla yu bari te mënuloo koo faj how long can you hold on and fii la government de mun a penetrate and ñun suñ dëkk fii dañ ko gis depuis time yi PPP ñëw to the APRC government ñun suñ time and currently we are experiencing the same thing we go to the opposition nga offer leen position jox leen xaalis and support in a lot of ways and they will switch sides and lii pour ñu xeex ko dafa difficult because lena is part of it mooy the level of poverty in this country there is a wide gap. Yeah. It's not about employment. Ñi liggéey seen boppa liñ leen di fay. It's not even hand to mouth. I just attended a workshop about 2 days ago. Li ma si jàngee mooy ne the daily allowance or the daily standard allowance loo xam ne loolu la Gambian bi dey receive by law is $35. And loolu soo ko waree calculate minimum wage fii ba weer bi dee that is about $1,050. What can that solve?
Nothing.
And suñ waxantee dëgga if we want to alleviate or we want to fight poverty to elevate people's life ñu gis ne ok nit ki dina mun a am lum survive ko even ko amut famille man suma gom-gom mooy ne minimum salary dëkk bi in this country dafa war a nekk $10,000 a month no matter what job you do suñ buggee génne poverty or ñu bugg a close that gap ni ma ko estimate man personally I just take ne $300 a day taking into account da ngaa jënd cash power da ngaa joxe dépasse soo amee ay families and lunch or amee moto jënd fuel it's not enough but minimum $300 a day people will be able to survive that's roughly about $9,000 you round it up 10,000 but what is the basic salary loo xam ne nit ñi loolu lañ nekk di receive it's not even enough to take care of yourself personally talk of less of other needs yoo xam ne nit ki loolu la soxla so at some point if people don't have support it becomes very difficult that loyalty integrity bu ñoo wax ni it just becomes theory but practically nit ki su toogee amul lum lekka munta fay luwaas amul cash power munta pay his bills what do you expect moo tax ma ne for how long can they hold on lii nekk na a challenge boo xam ne du ma in Africa waaye comme Gambia mang fi mang ko dunda this is what we go through every day is lu gaaw la pour créer disconnect and nit ki mu mun a def a 360 turn ci loo xam ne loolu la doon preach loolu la gomoon and that's what he or she was advocating for pour mu make that turn I think ne Come if we want to solve it, ñu ngi bëgg a find out lan mooy problème bi. These are some of the issues. Man, lima believe ne, it's a key factor, or it's playing a major role in shaping our political arena. Tay so bëggee def politics amuloo xaalis dama nga tëdda nga nelaw. Lu dul nit ñi ñooy génn ne la yow la ñun ñoo laa boot ñu dajale seen xaalis jox la. If not, you cannot succeed. No matter sa xam-xam fu mu tollu, taraay boo jógee, sa connections and all this. Without finance, you have a problem to do politics in this country.
I'm not solo. Dudu have mentioned a lot of factors here. So many factors connected to this. Okay, Lamin, Tamba. Dudu, he said a lot about this polarization. There is a lot to say, a lot to talk about financially, tribally, politically, regionally. It's a lot that you mentioned, Dudu, here, So, Lamin, your thoughts, polarization.
Well, in public administration or politics, somebody was calling me. In public administration and in politics, there are things that you can control, and there are things that you cannot control. Unfortunately, some of the issues that Duduja mentioned, as well as my other panelists, they all apply. But for me, as an individual, having been in Gambian politics for 6 years, what I've read so far is that Gambians haven't got principles and ideals that they will need to stick to. That's very important. And the underlying cause of all of that is education, unfortunately. The political education is not there. The strategy is not there. The maturity is not there. What do Gambians actually believe? What are the principles of the politician that you follow and you shout about and you fight about and you're passionate about? What are their core principles that you believe in that made you support that person? There's nothing wrong with politics in terms of switching sides. Nothing wrong with that. As long as you cut clean and go from A to B. If I want to leave APRC today and go to DOI, or leave APRC and go to GDC, nothing wrong with that. I can leave, cut clean and say, oh, I'm not happy with the way APRC is going anymore. I've seen what DOI is doing, or I've seen what GDC is doing. I'm going to go and join GDC because I believe that GDC is currently doing what I wanted APRC to do and they're not doing. All right? So the long and short of the story is, first and foremost in politics, our people need to be well informed as to what the party is going to implement when they go to government. What I find with Gambian politics is lack of focus, poor discipline, especially in all political parties in the opposition, except one. Only one party, I can say the individuals are well grounded, well disciplined. I think their principles and policies are a bit archaic. They're old, they're obsolete, they're not resonating with the Gambian people, and that's DOI. But when it comes to discipline, institutional discipline, believe in what the party stands for, you can put DOI's hand at the top. I think they need to modernize and come into the modern generation and do politics differently.
Yeah, but why did you not join them then, Mr. Tamba? Why did you not join them if you think they make sense to you?
That's exactly what I said now. I think they need to modernize their policies in terms of the way they run politics. You have to look at politics.
So I'll take this. I'll take this for yours. Like Mr. Lamin Tamba ko ning doye la cool falling atebe join la doye la kangfo.
No, near a cool falling. There's a possibility ning APRC mantara takan direction on bitakan dameng nse falling no ngata doy. Ning GDC la cool falling ila cool diata nyakatambi APRC te nse ta GDC. Ni UDP la cool falling ila cool libe menke kang FCA APRC te mbe sound na ngata UDP.
Yeah, but before you go any further, thank you for switching to local, because Mojalaka complaining I'll try Alka local language for back, I just received another text message. So Minkera Lamin, APRC Fulan the North Alliance link APRC Malonyadi. Is that correct? Oh, is that right?
APRC killing the Bekering. There's no such thing as APRC Fula. APRC mo APRC leti. Membe Kekang. Walam APRC la kaitol legally abejumale bulokono. That's the only argument. But APRC flatije, that's only one party registered as APRC. Nyo sabole be APRC kono. That's a difference. nyo sobo membe APRC kono aketa APRC keta farafulati dol tata NPP alliance dol ko tata NPP alliance bo APRC kilina bekere so nyo sabole benunje APRC be jumale bulu APRC te jumabulu ya moyle yo bare sign ni APRC la vision 2020 jube ye APRC la vision 2016 jube ye APRC la manifesto jube ye APRC la pass record jube ken jama bi jele me alko other parties ni lafta kalamin tamba saba ay la party to you have to go in that direction illa policies programs you have to have them well publicized you have to show that you've implemented them successfully membe Gambia political to be nkadiamo te nyame PPP is the only one men se funtina no ka foko ntol nga nyine implement them when we were in government we recognize some mistakes but ni murunta be nyine kala UDP a chance soto no janne 2-3 years in government inyanta men kala non ka fo mole ko kabirun tolbe government this is what we implemented ima o chance soto no ima implement itolia beke other priorities ye wala dundinang in government ye men safe as a coalition they abandon that lungo menna de suo baro en ya bulaje but APRC be damen ntesa fono in terms of development in terms of education health rural infrastructure nga nyinne ke APRC dula jumale ke damay ko lamin tamba beliefs ko nindunta government will change those areas while the way we carried out some of the functions in terms of the judiciary. Some of our human rights record wasn't great. That doesn't mean President Jamelake, but the government could have done a lot better. So even though they did the right thing to protect the country, they didn't follow the normal procedure because Jandi Befendo Kela, Lua Bundal Sototale. Yemo more suspect or yemo muta in the act. Asamba lua nyatilingola, lua memfo anyanta ponis la nyameng ya ponis wanyama. Ya moile yo bare ngamenje Gambia to wala mo katara bi APRC sama e jumpa ita NPP among NPP la policy fangolong and that unfortunately the middle ages kata older ages ibe wala nyama the youths are thankfully some of them the majority of them are steady majority of the youths are sitting on the fence ibe batundiro kekang kaje. Going into 2026, Jumali be funtilana meyal ko resonates with the youth. Aka youth soul energized, aka rural countryside, Senelal ning other things. So somebody needs to come up with something meyalonko, Senelal ba lonnaloko, ila sene fengol, come ning other things so ni pareta mansakunda ba sanale. Nimansakundata Sanna, we want to privatize agriculture. We make it a free market economy. Mansakunda will facilitate the markets. Brusenelal Bela Senefangol Sambada. Afele sign, Nkadiamote Nyameng. For the 6th year in a row, Barola Mansakunda Mamola Tio Sanno. Emamola Senefangol Sanno. Even if they made that mistake in 2017, 2018, by now they should have found a way around it. Yeah. But the same people who Senelal member complain okay kanko baro mantare latio sankan CRR nimbaro nata next election ako ko mani boti kilim fele jabasi kilim fele na jumbo kafike
wala yatina bi program okumata bake because we want to educate our people pour ya longo alngan fonyon ni nyone nela aninka mol nene because minika bata ko kono bake akeke fuaro nede anu ngalo na fuare ya banyame ndeboda komole gunjur so at the level abeje nyama ning santoto ngamere nyanta nying hakil mayala ko kono bake le because wala atinna nakacha ko bi nyone ne aboto komole aboto sandoto le amu manni goldi amu surwal amu nyinu be mu kullati mi alom faham balia wale ka sabo hani saying people have this sort of mindset.
Yeah, precisely. And Gunjur, Namo Gunjur is actually part of Ntefango Ninkana contribution towards APRC la next manifesto because yalo nentemo environmentally solid. Chinese all golden lead be menke kan Gunjur and our coastline abe danale completely because you cannot have a company mealonko yalo wandi banko kang iba borinde kang anima waste transfer certificate waste management system also imanyana license fango dilela to operate in the Gambia without having a comprehensive and credible waste transfer management system waste transfer certificate because ni be company that akang e ka toxic substances all e ka pump jiokono kamola nyofa nyoka fa ba dandangola ten tintoto that should not happen. It's not happen.
Right. Okay. So so Leota, what are your thoughts? Honestly, this is you know so this is touching, you know, diga.
Yeah, manglena gerem dilen santa once more. Ogna duduja lichi opodole wanako. Lamin Kamba Kumasena very well why he ended up campaigning for APRC, which is not surprising.
No, I was giving examples. Examples. Thank you.
Linyo said lu moy ne lan moy disconnect be between politics and, you know, polarization be at the emergence of, you know, political entrepreneurship in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Fogna duduja wana chili am solo. Why mangi hola tamit si fana bo hamne dafa important. Moy accessibility of politicians after elections. Nangagis timing elections, politicians they will be accessible to every Tom, Dick and Harry, to the ordinary Gambian. Why the moment they are elected into office, ñu delu at combo, ñi ci ëpp doole pour gis leen daf dee jafe. Dina gis ñoo xam ne dañoo jóge ci seen tundu yi ñëw, they would sit for days or weeks or hen na dem seen office yi sax am soxla yu tiis waaye duñ leen mun a gis. So loolu daf dee tax be ñi ëpp doole ñi jóge ci dex gi dañ dee gisee ne comme like ñi dañ leen dee use rek time biñ leen soxlee waaye ñoom suñ leen soxlee duñ leen dee mun a gis. So tax na be dañ dee gisee politics as loo xam ne amalu leen njëriñ for them amalu leen njëriñ because dañ dee disconnect seen boppa ak politicians yi dañ dee disconnect seen boppa ak nguur gi moo tax all the time nga dégg ñu naan mansa o nguur so it's like ñu ngi joxoon somebody else koo xam ne it's not part of them waaye comme li Dudu Jah initiate education bi awareness bi su fa nekkee yow doo mun a gis nguur bi as something loo xam ne amuloo ci cira o amuloo ci wàlla danga ko gisee ne as ci li nga bokka boobu benn la ñaareel bi politicians yi nit ñi dañ leen dee gisee ne especially ñi nekk si dégg ñi ci ëpp doole ne ñi ay waxi naxaati rek lañ dee wax suñ ñëwee suñu waxee dina ñu jox lii ñu sànni leen karta ñu am suñ yaakaar suñ demee duñ gis dara understand so loolu tax na be ñi ci ëpp doole léegi dañu wax ne waaw ñun suñ ñëwee ñu jox ñu at least njëgi maalo o dépasse pour benn bés o ñaari week xam nga boobu dañoo gis ne am na that immediate njëriñ so loolu lañ dee ñi ci ëpp doole loolu lañ dee sànnee seen karta moo tax ñeneen ñi dañ dee jaay seen karta because gis nañ ne sànni karta bi amul njëriñ so ñu am immediate benefit dan sànnil opposition sànnil politicien di karta moo leen dee gënal ñaareel bi is like political consciousness bi boobu dafa xalaat lifin manqué bu baax so doo mun a wax ne Gambian ni jànguñ Gambian ni jàng nañ waaye xam nga jànga nga politically aware ak conscious dafa ute soo seetloo doy biñ dooree depuis 1980s mid 80s yi gaay ngay binda xam nga ñu ngi am ay meeting ñu ngi defar audios in all the local languages ñu ngi ko jaay ne ñaa ngi ko déglu waaye tax na ne be doy mënut a am mënuñ la denk doy réew mi Halifa Sallah taxaw na Barrow si coalition lifin bi Barrow gagné ko so su fekkee ne na jàngala ak yooyu doo compare Barrow ak Halifa waaye nit ñi liñ gis si Barrow lañ gisut si Halifa because benn gis nañ si Barrow xëy na waa kii is one of us understand nga xëy na ñoo jógee si dex gi o xëy na ñoo jógee si benn tribe bi o xëy na ñoo jógee si benn bigger party bi so xooluñ quality bi
waaye quantity bi lañ seet understand loolu su weesoo tamit yaa ngi gis ay xaajaloo bi dex gi ak the Greater Banjul area so seetloo development bi is concentrated within Banjul KMC ak West Coast so jàllee West Coast tuuti rek xëy na Brikama nga dem Mandina o nga dem xëy na Kalaji da nga foog ne xëy na Kalaji is not even part of the West Coast development bi àggu fa so noonu ni nga suree di dem si provinces bi noonu la development bi di wàññeekoo ba da nga àgg ay place yoo xam ne doo gis dara du courant du ndox xam nga du school yu baax du lopitaan du health center facilities yu baax so ñooñu dañ feel ne ñoom bokkuñ si dëkk bi they are completely cut so ñooñu boobu disconnect mu fa so moo tax da ngaa gis ne xam nga election bi su lifine in the urban area because foofu ay am nañ development to di xam nga ñu ngi am allies ñoo xam ne xam nga am nañ liñ buga so dañ dee vote on policies and programs so voting bi for the presidency in the urban area ak si rural area bi daf dee differ so like si mayoral election bi ñu ngi gis ne xam nga it's like urban area bi dañ reject president bi not as a president as a person why dañ reject all his candidates so loolu is a protest pour won ko ne henna lii ak lii li nga doxale neexuñu waaye in the provinces xooluñu loolu most of his candidates win nañ foofu like example bi Lamin Tamba joxe henna gerte bi munuñ koo jënda fale waaye at least suñ ñëwaatee dinañ leen sànnil karta waaye duñ mun a toog xalaat lu tax ñu war a sànnil ñi karta ba pare ñun ñu ngi ci coono bi waaye soo demee Banjul o Serekunda na ñun ni ñoo dëkkee ak ñooñu ni ñoo dëkkee du benn so yooyu yëpp contribute na si political disconnect bi léegi ñun li ñu war a xalaat mooy ne naka la ñoo saafaralee lii they bring about new bridge that disconnect raise the political consciousness and awareness bi be pare another thing mooy intolerance ak exclusion yooyu tamit bokk na ci yoo xam ne contribute na si disconnect bi because for instance léegi man ak Lamin Damba mun nañoo jóg understand nga mun nañoo wax lu nekk on the public domain ñu disagree bitterly waaye xam nga out of the public domain dañu am a very healthy relationship we continue being friends ñu share jokes ak yooyu waaye am na some people ñoo xam ne once you disagree with them politically in the public domain that's where your relationship ak ñooñu end those people don't want to have
lii la ñoo wax lu waral loolu why that
intolerance loolu mooy intolerance ak lack of political maturity because man ak Mr. Mane if we disagree, like last week, I made a statement, Munema, with all respect, I don't share your opinion. Understand it? When I compare Dabo and Sabali, which is quite understandable. No affect to my relationship more. Why, if it is somebody else, Coco would not have anything to do with me or with money.
Exactly. More time money. The level of civic education in the Gambia is lacking. Karamba, Malum for I think ila contribution would be immense. Malum, I know you had work. Karamba, Malum for Kamuela. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sal.
Yes.
Your contribution on Muela.
Yes.
Say your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Abaraka Bake, Abaraka Lamin, Abaraka Sol, Abaraka Dudu. Como Mustafa Yafanyami, one of the lacking, shall I say, ingredients. Nin tabiromu Joran Kilimbe Mankiri na politiko kono. Wolom molula nyomoyo communication. How do people debate about a political topic? Nimolbe debate la fanang. Is it mature debate or is it mainly quarreling or is it mainly everybody saying what they want to say and then that's it? But we don't normally have make a good platform also to where you can have good political debates representing the views of a wide range of people right across the country. Number one is lacking. More because political kachano kafoko okay. This is what I'm presenting as my manifesto, for example. Need after a good political debate, I think it's about time. Como political parties in a newspaper or radio or television, and debate openly about what they have got in their manifestos. How is that going to be costed? You know, munomola finance implications. How is that going to be delivered, etc., etc. And the other thing, Saul mentioned it, was about National Assembly members. How many of our National Assembly members hold regular meetings in their constituencies after winning elections? How many? From winning elections to the next 5 years, how many National Assembly members will Nila Mulka connect at rural level? And rural level, I mean, it back to a constituency. Look, I've been in the post 6 months, but this is the learning experience I've brought to you. Ko ngalahidi kilinta ntenga jibe nyamin te otimandlano nalahidi fulanjango se otimandino sabanjango ta timandlano na politician jelle nila fenko constituency members or conversations or. And then the other thing is how many of our National Assembly members can say categorically and boldly that every day and every night their work life is all about what is in the best interest of the electorate and in the country. Yo, ninga o statistics fananyini asotobe koleala back. So I think again solve ni lamented on it. In principles, ntola politicianul munomila principles. Ngawo nyini kalebam before we voted them in. Nim politician or man principles sort. What is going to happen when they are in power? It's not going to be based on morals. It's not going to be based on equity. It's not going to be based on fairness because your principles will more educate about putting your foot right or putting your foot wrong. But niman principles so you just go with the flow. Yo, I think the other thing for a lack of piety. And by that I mean ko. Yaje dino foi mu Christianity bang foi mu Muslimity bang na dino there are two strong elements akan karande min na dino aka fonyi loko ila principles should be measured against dino emif your other principles should be about piety yo ni molmo wo instruments also and they are in politics so what do you expect so nin disconnect a wide battle and it's coming from all sorts of areas. There are financial implications, there are moral implications, religion, tribe, regional, etc., etc. But Nintolongo understand why are we not trying to minimize the impact it is having on our politics? Because Abena politics destroy can whether or not we like it. Nin disconnect. Abena politics destroy can. So it's about time we ask each other. What is going on? How do we need to kind of de-accelerate, disconnect acceleration? Because ni wante abe politics tinyala completely. Ni na political history jibe. From where we started to where we are now, the disconnect gap has grown over and over again. And Rufema Osabu for a wide range of things, including more politics, campaign wato sitale. More kela thoughts all express, more kela wishes all express. But before campaign wato, muna na more kela thoughts all express. Muna na bika afoko bi ajibe. Maniboto be Gambia nearly let's say $2,000. Maniboto dolma was say 5 years ago it was less than what it is today. Why are we not holding our politicians accountable for that increase in the price of a commodity? Why? Amanjara ngamba to fang for campaign what we see. You say if it confront no sign. But again, in the National Assembly members, Jamal Lening wo fenko idea kata National Assembly ka ko bin tata na constituency le ibe ko dani ngo be kolearan. Dani ngo ala kolearan.
Sal ye point min fa kumata bake but saying nte bukaje bake politicianol anila supportersol moye lo aya nyatiling la political party nyatiling nyaton kola aya fayko ngo bari foy ma mira ko fuarol be batakan nying mang sia Gambia malo muna na ubuka kesal. What do you think?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's a big communication gap. I think the culture of our politics is such that so this is about time.
Let me just come in here quick. The other factor is like if you are supporting a political party or a politician, itemanya kuma fowe miyalonko muldol bajelako oppositional lenyanda wo fola or itemanya na a different opinion holder, you know, when you are supporting the party or, you know, supporting the politician. For example, ninte fundi da janga for okay, baro, you know, nyini amake ku anyanda nyini kela. Ibafala munati na Suleiman, you know, it's like molben call the inbox like munati na you are coming in public. These things should be discussed in house. But Jama is like we have to develop that culture wherein we can stand. Like here you can see, you know, MP Sol, Prime Minister, you know, hold accountable at the National House of Parliament. So it tells them, you know, they criticize his daughter because I'm not even criticize it, hold accountable. Yeah. So that in Salongo, ninde a laughter party ninde a laughter ala politician ola because wulatin akalo akakumul fine.
Sorry, I don't want the problem with that, yeah. So ni wulta ye political nyatonko approach ye osifake. How would you be more bukeji nyadile because of the level of understanding? So
wofana mu disconnect all because saying many be caring. They are trying to nip that woman kake. So ni wo kita drong wuleka psychopancing fertilize. Wuleka encourage a group because Momo, you know, would not say anything. It's like you become like, you know, an indoctrinated, you know, psychopath. You don't even look at the left or right. Ite kanyato damale jube, ibukela koma jube. Ni do kudo kana koma mialon ko ube baramala o ila left or ila right. Because partying, you know, from lamini afonyami, party soul ila policies ni ila program ni ila manifesto, anyanta ka match with, you know, modernity, anyanta match with the realities menuka happen on a daily basis, coming proponent issues of the day. So politician or nyimfana inyantela ideas will enrich now and again. So Adamadingo and Adamadingo is like sometimes when we are too comfortable, we get complacent.
Yeah, okay. Dudu and Lamin, it's like a conversation, you know. If you feel you want to interject, you know, you can contribute anytime, you know, what channel at all, you know. So if you feel you want to contribute, you can, you know, come in anytime, you know. Don't wait for a tone. And there's no tone. It's a conversation we have in here. So, Sol, come in, go ahead on. Gambian be. Sol, yo, I'm not party bunga support, yo, Tedu.
Man, everybody knows, man, I'm NPP. And Baro
you are NPP. Why you're NPP? There are things you have you go there. Why did you ever come out to say things to them?
Absolutely. If you come to my wall, you can see the Madeira sleeping. I'm not being a base. I think I said something about Baro, and then there was this minister in my inbox. Nema, you know, I'm disappointed. Why do you have to say this about Baro? Understand?
Okay, Dudu, yo APR singer. Which of the APRC?
I think APRC Benala, like Nuko Lamintamba, legally there's only one APRC.
Why does this no to Alliance and APRC? I don't even know because I'm a bit confused here, Dudu.
Okay, by Madimbalela Dudu, because Sky Power admin then Labuga confused, but I did really and truly APRC Benala legally. Even in the in modern democracies, you have democracy for 400 years. But I'm continue. Suleiman Jeng, at least one thing I like about Suleiman Jeng is that they criticize NPP government sometimes when it's quite too obvious, it's blatant. That could have been that. All right. But that is one thing we have to give to him. I like him for that. All right.
Okay. Well, have you ever done that to APRC being a support, Lamin?
Of course, I've said a lot. Bindanalu bari si APRC. I spoke out against Fabakar Tombonjata and other people. I spoke out against Yaya Tambani's executive last night, as recent as last night. Teman luma de def dama ko record on Facebook Live, wala ma record ko on YouTube. So ñep mën nañoo dem suma timeline or the history of my Gambian politics. ñu fekk ko fa. And I've also said, see if human rights bu ñoo choni President Jammeh ni jonglas ni. If there's any compelling reason, very good evidence pour wone ne President Jammeh either bokon na si planning wala the execution or the omission of all the allegations bu ñoo tek si kawam, I will not defend him. I'll not stand in the way of justice. Yaga na di ko waaye gis nga nit yi ñoom suñ bëggut nit, nobody else would like that person. So this is what we need to change. Exactly luñ doon wax APRC benn APRC la. It's just like modern democracies. In England, dang they am Blairites and Brownites. Then in the United States, dang they am IT party, ñu de am differences, action leadership. So parties lego legi, danga am Corbynite, danga am Kierites. That they happen. Healthy rivalry dafa basi political party. Ñun lo happen on 2021, nekkul ne APRC dafa hard effectively into two. Therefore, am ñu bëggoon dem alliance with NPP. Mo am ñu bëggutoon na dem alliance into NPP.
Okay. So Lamin, ñu dem MPP fele, ñu def alliance, min MPP alliance ke, ñu nekkul APRC, they're not APRC, yeah?
No, they're still APRC because they didn't resign from the party, Ken Dahut them from the party. The only difference bu ñu am léegi ni legitimacy of who is the legitimate, who is the true executive of the APRC. That's the only argument. When you them on NPP, they haven't been dismissed, resigning. They're still APRC and they still proudly present themselves as APRC, partners of NPP. So ñun luñ bëgg moy ñooñu ñu dem on NPP, comme que gis nañ ne NPP government is going nowhere. Nekkuñ di dem fenn. Our government, suñ government bi ñu ngi dem into serious debt. Lu ñoo wax ni Gambia mu ngi face security problems, serious security problems. Waaye nit ñi nekkuñ di ko binda, nekkuñ di ko wax because aga good guys and doorsteps si. ñu ngi shoot people in Fonyi. Senegalese army came to Dasilame, dañ bëggoon na jël benn section ni Dasilame. Benn béréb bi Dasilame ñu ne Senegal moom area boobu noonu ba ñu create trouble. We are keeping quiet because affaire si problème bi aga good suñ doorsteps si. This is the problem again. This is the problem with Gambian politics. Man mi Lamin Tamba muy wax ak nit ñi, none of what's happening in the Gambia affects me personally. My family is all right. My family, none of them is working in the government. While the magisne, l'union def in the country is affecting the general public. I'm fighting for the greater good. I'm not getting a penny out of APRC. So we have to care about every single inch of Gambia. We have to care about every single soul of the Gambia, whether it affects you or not. Then you want a job. There are certain things you have there. You have a common voice in certain things. Security is one of them. Economy is one of them. Tourism is one of them. Tourism is part of the economy. Other things that affect our sovereignty and sovereign wealth, we should unite and talk about it. So, lolu no education be fofula wara joge. If you want to criticize your party publicly, after trying internally ko change, you should be free to do it.
Okay.
People do it everywhere.
Okay. So
I think it's very unfair for Lamin Tamba to say the government be neku di dem fen. So when the government be neku di dem fen is like bobo it's just a statement of an opposition. Because government be obviously amna successes you have the munko register in terms of the economy be, in terms of the education. Recently gis nañ ne vice president be minister of education gaa ngi dem Rwanda gaa ngi dem di study Rwanda's education system bi pour war a ñëw improve suñ education system bi. Okay, yaa ngi gis hen Nguri Barrow bi is doing a lot when it comes to building roads and bridges. So like Jammeh so waxee ne Jammeh lan development la fa def apart from build roads ak airport be at age 22 be. So every government come li dudu wax dang de yobu linga feka from one state to another state. Why there is no single government on earth who hamne dina muna complete everything. Barrow is doing what he can at the moment. So he's trying to solicit the support of every Gambian who support Buga. Why it does not necessarily mean he is satisfying every sector of the government. I'm not saying sectors you have
okay. You think Sal, ite amira na nyim politician or political party nyatonkol yamara Gambia yesula lebam because you know kule timini alonko ning Gambia yesula fengo feng aning Gambia la nyato tama nyoma fengo feng Gambia dingol ba patala je fengo feng abakela mole torolti mamere yanda la fila wala de Sal because nyinko niya jibe jama because min kante patani nyinko kono wolong toro kala fuaro le kambake mini man sembo soto and then this must stop. This has to stop, man, Salfo.
Yes, I mean, obviously, we are looking at, what's the resolve? Where do we start? Because whether you belong to UDP, NPP, APRC, DOI, GDC, or any other political party, the facts are facts. You cannot change them. Be the poverty levels in the Gambia be a worse than it was, let's say 5 years ago. Mano da koleada be a worse than 2 years ago. Olmu faxlet. Be ni sasata Gambia. Ila healthcare. Nima moso do bimbe lole in the Gambia or outside the Gambia. If you're not very careful, sasa nimbe fala. Because nitatela local fenkoto health center do. Bortiye. Itela diagnosis for Nico ilaftela diagnosis lala. I'm just picking up health as a subject. Niko pre scan ya long ila kurang momenti. Niman kodo sodo. Ite basic scan sotolano. Yo niman kodo sodo. Ite la blood test lano in the lab. Niman kodo sodo. Ite larang sotolano private hospital. Despite the fact ko health insurance lesson. So these are the real facts. Among woman ke politics defang, these are facts that are affecting the human life, that are affecting the lives of ordinary people. But then coming back to the subject, which is not disconnect. Nimu a big disconnect because politicians are not learning from the people who voted them into power. Wala lungolum bata, politician o mawolo, wala lungolum solo, imalong. As long as it will be power, and they have access to power, they have access to wealth, they are okay. The ordinary people, they don't care. Let's say, lamini fishing industry, afo mimbe jana, mimbe gunju. Wala environmental harm, cause, and I mean cause kan hani sign. Gambian ka jamale ne tata ka mesho ka jibe, wala environmental long-term harm, munum. Because it can have long-term consequences. Anyway, in another nutshell, the politician, any political manifesto, me is in the power. We have never held them accountable to the political manifestos. We have never held them accountable, either formally or informally. Look, I'll be in power for 1 year. Let's come back to the manifesto. What is in the manifesto? Ali mean deliver. What is in the manifesto? Alma mean deliver. Come on, mbengalone, fool about it. Gambia la welfare system is worse today than ever. And yet Gambia la wealth today, ala internal wealth. What a ala internal wealthy. Gambia ala fenko aka kodo min soto wa fangwe without depending on outside sources. Bila betiata sanjilulu command. But sanjilulu command to Gambia la own wealth kamin di Gambia la. What is siata bi kamin keno Gambia la wealth la. Being developmental projects will be is foreign money. Ibika development activity is a main point ka foko nying a be mu Gambia la kodol. Nka Gambia la kodol use kanyim development kari fanke project kari develop. Ibika they all rely on foreign resources. So where is our money going? So more need a politician olu ani minike in power, maybe in National Assembly. Ni biko kachalo sotono ka foko look. After general lalde, anna say suokono bang adi ajibe mune be suokono. If in a place like Sukuta, families don't be they cannot put food on the table as a result of cost of living be higher in Yami. Nia for drone is a cost of living be higher in Dunia Bele. Yes, abe Dunia Beto, but me what is more concerning for us? Munum ideality and solutions. Masakunda semin Kenya no puru cost of living ying I tell her. ye backway syndrome fananjibe na foninkel be faka nyim backway. There was never a time Mansakunda ni moli si yafo natako it's a forward thinking Mansakunda, a Mansakunda with foresight. Abitala all in communities little kafo ko look nyimi be caring Gambia be garawrim bakel nala foninkel nyanda kachala samune keno about nyim backway syndrome. But it seems like Gambia found a Gambia dingul buy from Gambia.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other point I love to add like quickly, William success on issue in our political system. Near Jube saying there is no success on policy or programs within all the political parties. Near Jube political party will be minuelo Willemila Nyaton Koti Kabrinchuk for B. Falindi Rotije. So they've tried for 30 years, they'll be here for 20 years, will be here for 18 years. At least you tried for 2 political seasons. Imam make no. At least in the creation of program.
Yes. Yalong wo fana mukula de yalong binao jibel. But Karamba, can you hear me?
Karamba mamira nothing.
Okay, I think it went frozen. Okay.
Yeah.
Sol, even min fokang, akumaya tabakele. Sol, sal fana be min foka kumada le dudu. Yo yangi on the ground. Problem is happening. Problem over caring. So, your thoughts, li nakalen kumuna safarele, because it's always the poor and needy. Nyinga hamne nyore negasi torabinda. How do we resolve this?
Well, man, suma gom la ne every problem there's a solution, and problem munutanyaka. I will always live with it. I always lima de wax rek moy su problem amé target bi moy lan lañ wara def pour ñu solve ko. There is no system or government in this world bo xamne amuñ problem. You cannot satisfy everybody's needs. Adina biñ nekk ni. And nature of doomi adama limo ut lum am rek bugana mu gëna bari bugana mu gëna yokku. So people will never be satisfied no matter lo leen jox. It will never be enough for everybody. Lola is an issue. Well, on the side of government, then you want to improve on information dissemination. Amna lu bari lo xamne nguur bi liggéey nako. Wahay duñ dé géna wax ko woné ko nit ñi duñ ko dé yegg. Man mostly suma joiné on the meet the people tour lu bari fofu la ko dé yégué. So which means ne suma togué fi ma tok ni dewma on the tour, the information is not going to be filtered down pour mu ñew fi. So lolu issue la. And when there's a problem, suñ waxé né problème bi li lañ wara def pour ñu solve ko, lolu lim jox nit ñi moy hope, yaakar la. Example ndox ñu ko joy. Nawet su génné woné né li tax ndox amul moy pipe fi dañ tuuti wala li ak li moy di causes while we are working on it melen ñu ben weer ñaari weer dinañ solve problem am nga people will continue ñu ngi dunda without adequate water why lan lañu jox moy ñu ngi sentu ben weer ñaari weer things are going to get better man angul bobu la def ne always that they missing there'll always be problem why dafa melni sometimes people in authority people with responsibility dañ ragal media and media warulo ko ragal it's there pour jotali la sax lo xamne yow do ko dega li nit ñi di wax lo xamne loolu lañu lam
waaw loolu foog nga ne lan mo waral loolu dudu foog nga ne lan mo waral ñuy ragal media why because few times yow so gome if you know what you're doing well you should not be waral ragal media dina.
Well, 2 factors mung fa man ci suma gis-gis bena moy inefficiency because da nga ragal ñu laaj la li nga wara def te defulo ko you feel you will be exposed out there nit ñi dinañ xam ki lim fa toge ak ci lu nekk ñaarel bi it's fear factor ne li nga discourse o li la media bi di engage di nga reveal lo waru ta reveal lolu mënu ta ñaaka man ma ngi APRC legi ma def ay interview it doesn't go down well with some of the leadership in the party dañ ma dem mëna engage ñama li nga wax ni waru loko wa ñom so leen waxon ne demal nga face media bi nga wax ko they will not do it they just keen listeners and they will pick points yo xamne yow fofu nga am mistake o ñom luñu gisé ne it's a problem man on my side I would see that it's not a problem it's something lo xamne luma wara discuss la lima wara génné la ci public bi way ñom buñ ci dé and so the same thing amna ñu bari ñu ngi nekk in government dañ dé ragal sa ne it could cost them their job because amna certain information lo xamne na pour government is sensitive waruta génna yow so démé ci media bi nga wax ko it could cost you your job so dafa melni balance bobu desna
Why in as much as yow yaa ngi bëgg a des si liggéey bi, and there are issues yoo xam ne nit ñi ñu ngi ko dunda kenn génnut wax ko, nobody is addressing it. You leave them with ñoo xam ne liñ leen a wax mooy rumors, and léegi-léegi ñu jox leen information yoo xam ne is not accurate, and loolu la nit ñi di góom, loolu la ñoo dundee. Unless and until nga génn na leen déedéet du loolu de lii la, then they will have an option ñu mën a déglu both sides. Gis nga foofu la opposition and people putting government to task ñoom advantage boobu lañ dee am. They can go to the media wax lu bari, feeñal lu bari, explain lu bari ne lii is allegedly, lii scandal la, lii la, waaye ñi moo affect on the side of the government kan moo dee génna pour wane ne déedéet lii du lii mooy dëgga, lii mooy am, lii la amee, so that the people will have a balanced understanding. Mentally ñoom they will be able to understand and you make judgments. Why daf they flow mostly on one side?
Wow, Lolo, in that aspect, who is to be blamed? Can you blame Lolo Dudu? Who is to be blamed?
Mainly Mayoko Fufututi. Nyarel bi am nga fear factor bi dafa soppande ko ci perception, because dañ dee gisee ne media bi ñi ci ëpp doole anti government lañ, so dañ leen dee xoolee bët yooyu, so dañ dee feel ne ñii suñ fa demee duñ am xam nga the atmosphere or interview boo xam ne xam nga dinañ mun a comfortable, dinañ mun a waxtaan comme ni ñu waxtaanee fii. So daanaka dañ dee feel ne ñooñu suñ fa demee dañ leen a ŋaaña, so perception boobu mu ngi fa. Ñaar tamit dañ dee wax ne dañ dee gisee media yi as ñoo xam ne dañ dee wax rek, so dañ dee gomloo like even président bi ne ñii bu leen dee faale o bu leen déglu, bàyyi leen waxkat leen rek dañoo wax rek. Te da nga gis ne xam nga xalaat yu demee yooyu daf dee gën a sonal nguur bi. Ba pare every ministry boo gis am na an information officer boobu dafa mel ni like the spokesperson of the ministry, waaye ñooñu comme li nga wax they would never come out pour wax. Every minister soo tukkee nga dem yaa ngi dem lijjanti something, soo ñëwee da nga war a through sa information officer bi da nga war a joxe press conference. Man de jóg naa fii dem na Sénégal, mit naa suma doomi xam nga naka lañ doomi ndey lii ak lii lañ waxtaan, so agree nañ lii, so lii lañ war a lifin. Let's say for example police bi léegi-léeg nga gis ne ñu ngi lifin xam nga officers from Turkey, officers from Germany ñu ngi ñëw xam nga, so loolu through the police magazine, waaye doo dégg anyone from the Ministry of Interior like seen information officer bi génn a joxe press release xam nga lii ak lii moo xew, lii la ñoo def pour xam nga security sector reform bi. Presidential advisor be the same. Why da nga gis ne the only person ki dee génn mooy government spokesperson bi, te kooku fi mu nekk nii deram neexut, so su génnee su waxee li am fayda li amut fayda kenn du ko xam nga xorom na. So da nga gis ne taana be li ci gën a bari dafa noppi rek, waaye nguur da nga war a ñeme.
Salaha.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Jeng. That's a very good point. For example, if you went to attend a conference, go to CBC to attend a conference, the least you can do, Gambia, they gotta face the media. You tell them what the conference was about, and having spent there 10 days or 10 nights, and you were paid per diem, our money. When you got back home, what did attending that conference? What has it done for the Gambia and Gambians? What have you brought back home from that conference? How are you going to put that in place so that the Gambia benefits fully from that? So, Lulu, you have to face the media. People have to be prepared to face the media all the time. Why man dema hamne fear bingen wahni, fear of exposure. Okay, you don't have all the facts. If you face the media is there to investigate and find out the truth and publish the truth. Why there's this hesitancy amongst people in senior positions not to face the media, just in case the media goes beyond and above what the subject matter was. Because we all know media globally is there to investigate and tell its readership the facts, So I think that is why there is some kind of hesitancy in that area. Why every government official who then represent our government, back home, you should give us a paper that tells us why
you always that explanation.
How is that going to be implemented?
Yeah, you also explain. Lamin, fear factor be Lamin Tamba. This fear factor is something, you know. Man, some purpose even the from Moma. There was this minister I spoke to. He promised to come on here for the 11th hour, coming half an hour before the program. Nga call buka soto, you know, ala telefono buka dung. And then wo minister killing wala ko Mustafa angon nam ako nya ko abe diamo kana ko ha ngo ha ali ala diamo stad lengo ha nga ko well I like to think, you know, this is, you know, to educate the people ako nya ko moto bu nek ci kanam lende corne moto min bu ñaatu ko le corne so wo mu ñinde di ko al diamo nal pareda nal badada al bedenal. So this fear factor, Lamin Tamba, what are your thoughts mu nek ñing sabu why this? You're on mute, Lamin.
Yo, so abaraka bake fear factor kake moneti. Abetata nata is lack of substance. Ni moment substance long amala doku long. Akasilale. Near great leaders all Jube most of the time. They know almost every single topic than they betala be mole face la. Among possible yeke mansati or yeke ministati, every single event ila department or ya long akatama nyamen to the T. Among possible. But you'll have to have a general understanding of the agricultural department because you have a cabinet minister menke consult, you have permanent secretaries that advise the minister, you have directors that advise the permanent secretary and the minister. Yeah? So atata anata niye mota yake political advisor for religious affairs. But ala religious affairs the guy nying a bias sort of prejudice sort of against Christians. Well, I prejudice sort of against Ahmadiyya. Well, prejudice sort of against pagans. Ni ake advice as a head of state. Tera among diversity long, among inclusion long, among equality long. Ate advice no la nyama. The advice of a mendilela will always be one-sided. So therefore, Nkoto mae memfonung alia, ni be mo appoint la palasoto, I get a very good appointment. Either the person is academically astute or has experience in the department, has a track record of working in that field. Yamoele. If you take people like, for instance, Adama Barola advisor Sol Jube, Ijama Bije, you can ask a question Monat Nayake advisor. Adamanten, I have to say this. In the previous government, APRC government, some people became ministers or managing directors. Near Jube, you ask questions why. Yes, some of them, they're not articulate, but they worked in that department for 20, 30 years. So they know Akatama Nyame inside out. But Emo Samana Mealonko knows nothing about politics, yake political advisor. Yemo Samana Mealonko knows nothing about agriculture, yake agriculture minister. Yemo Samana Mealonko knows nothing about health, yake health minister. That can happen provided that Amari Nying has got good public administration last side. But Niemo invite interview like that. Do the Yemen for Tonyalem? Kabrin into politics in 2017 in the Gambia. Ning I Africa in invite. Wala Ker Fatu. Wala Fatu Network. Na executive ika silale. Ko ha, you're going to media Malco is hostile to the APRC. They were hostile to the former president. Ninkata Freedom Radio may pandering by rest in a source rest in perfect peace. Ninkata la fekavo ha Freedom Radio le Gambia tinyanu njang kanata interview them ko no. They're asking me about topics long very well. I'm very well grounded. Mamme politico to nyaonya. I know how legal systems work. I know how public administration work. What time we atara mamurung public service. Okay, I was in UK public service, nketa principality, and I left Ntata acting normal. Yamoele. Then I came back in 2022, back to public administration. Thankfully, I've gone up again rapidly to the top. Yamoele. So, Niemo interview, Kumandikata interview. I went to iAfrica, eventually, with the interviews, one, It educated people. They were very angry towards President Jammeh and APRC. It educated people. APRC. They didn't want to see eye to eye with UDP. They didn't want to see eye to eye with coalition. Eventually, their horizon broadened. They saw the bigger picture. Politics katama nyameng, public administration no katama nyameng, media katama nyameng. Dati kahangi media la demanding. Then we started few people going to interviews left, right, and center. So the long and short is, niela doku long, you're delivering, and you can provide evidence to the people. Dudu mentioned the fact that Barrow government is doing stuff, but they're not publicizing it. You can blame the APRC government of the same, because APRC government among strong media house in the diaspora, because a lot of things member focusing against President Jammeh, I think APRC government was not factual. Some things before Gambia media inside and outside against NPP government are not factual, but you can rely on people like us in the panel. Jang Mbafo ko Sulaman Jeng Yemeng mention Jang Baroka Silo Low. Barol be silo lokane, but near Barola silo lo abemen ya juba abemen lokang, you can have questions over it, because benga jejane silo men lota mam kare killing soto kare fula soto who will bakang. You can see that. Once President Jamela Tamo na silo lo, honey be a silo men lo. 20-25 years later, silo be bambanding still. Yeah. So those things you can talk about them, but a beta nata ibuka hangi, because Niko ko eta grade A silolo, yeta grade C silolo. Ni nata ba ha na silolo hakalang silo ngalo. But hakalang silo lungo men na ba inaugurate kang. Ika bankoje betengo koto. Musila sifala wate.
Okay, akumada. The problem ngamin suranyang hansaing fahamro abadasarim bakele. Because the National Assembly members will minni along kongi suranyang few times on this panel. Maybe molma lonko ni député soto député mantara ala doko kekan loi bi jela mi alonko e gafme ko recall also a recall no le pour alena alia fa ko nko malla village sign. I think a third of the fenko ning woliake député ning is ala palaso ning tanol. So kul min bako yala wol ko mayatale bake pour mole nyin long. Ibajala woto nim mole wo long sini soma ni bitay be mala je nyame balona because modol katara jele danko dron anu na mol fana nyim political ndenga problème so political nyaton ko la kuto bakele Gambia for UDP, for APRC, for Noto, for NPP, for because minketa jama ni ajibe dudu manyusio this thing is the poor dudu, the poor and the needy nyinga hamne new then new dole dudu. I think, they are suffering all the time, all this, Dudu. Lee, how do we resolve this?
Well, first and foremost, malal tuti about recalling a member of parliament, comme ça député, nga war ko génné ci place bi fa nek. Degala loi bi mu fa waye naka lañ ko wara défé loi bi daf ko déssé léral. So ahead two-third, is it vote cast? Is it new register constituency be? How are they going to have that two-third? Naka lañ ko organiser? I think the law be fofu modest. Liñ wara wax kay nañ yobu bill bo xamne to support that pour mu mëna explain explicitly jox nit ñi doole naka lañ ko mëna défé. Then that will help in putting our representatives.
Yes, Mota, I'll share this with you here. That we've got how do you call it? The legal aid team would be joining us here next week if you're free, or if you have any question, you can send them to me. The legal aid team are willing to come because legal aid is something Lohamne. Man, I don't know that it's in Gambia. So they mentioned to me, Key Emmanuel Juve did mentioned to me that legal aid is in the Gambia. So the department responsible, they will be here to talk us through that, inshallah, next week. So yeah, Dudu, sorry, I just want to
sorry, Mustafa. I want to apologize profusely to all of you. I had a little bit of an emergency at work here, so I had to actually change location, and I'm really sorry for that. But I am back now, inshallah.
No, do that.
Okay, Dudu, you can carry on. Dudu.
Okay.
Well, focusing into about poverty, basic human right la in a sense ne nit ñi ci dëkk bi lañ bokka and surtout ñun suñ dëkk bi c'est tax based economy dañoo collecte si nit ñi ñu dajale pour ñu mun a defar dëkk bi war nañoo focus si wàllu am bokk na ci nit ki ni moo dundee like basic necessities dafa expensive lu tax ñu ne dafa expensive li ma dooree woon la rek salary bi moo fajut dara suñ soo liggéey ba weer bi dee ñu compter sa salary jox la exemple ñu fay la $3,500 or $5,000 yi lan la mun a faj lan la mun a toppatoo am na ñoo xam ne seen salary benn fan lañ ko spend all the expenditure is gone lim liggéey for 1 month daf ko spend in a day mu jeex tak te sa fajut soxlaam.
Why sorry salary bi sax dañ ko spend before it gets paid anyway, generally speaking.
Exactly.
Most people who work in Gambia, the salary is already spent before it gets paid. So by the time it is paid, they are in
bor la moo nekka.
Maybe twice the
amount. Kii nga jox ko, maa ngi ameloon kii nga jox ko. I think that the diaspora, they help a lot. Family yu bari fii through the support bu ñoo am from the diaspora. Remittances yi moo nekka di keep people going, even ñi nekka di liggéey. Based on rent, 6 months, 1 year lañ la charge. How much are you paid monthly? Loolu waruñ ko allow fii nit ñi mu charge la 6 months rent, charge la rent boo xam ne da nga war a make advance payment for 1 year. How much are you paid for Kojele?
There's a law coming very shortly. Last week's discussion was based on that. We've got Honorable Mari Sise was here. He told us there is a law coming up shortly. Luas bi akfeibi. Lolutam is something law hamne. I can share that for with you lot here.
Yeah, only making the law won't be enough. Because so whole the population, how many people own homes? So the dependency ratio more up. People before you rent. Liko muna solve law, it's one aspect. The other aspect more social security. We need to build more estates. Likely am kanifin bakote yarambamba. Dafa wara continue. This will be the famuna dimbele civil servants and citizens, to have a place to live. Housing project, dafa neka a challenge. And this will help a great deal. Pour mu mun a help or mu alleviate li nga xam ne moom mooy poverty is part of it. Seeraay bi it's one thing waaye suñ la yokkalee li nga am dina la mun a adjust yoo tam lu bari nga mun ko am. Example tey nawet yokka nañ ndox nawet yokka nañ cash power but the salary remains the same, which means more expenditure on your side and yow li nga aan nekkut di yokku yi yëpp dafa yokka poverty ci nit ki. Basic necessities, this government is trying a lot when it comes to roads, to be quite honest. So traveler in the provinces, I'm the area you have, and they are doing it. You give them that credit. In other sectors, it's not the focus of discussion. While Fima Buga Nyomoy, Lo Hamne Moy Ndo Akura, the water is life. Am na lot of areas bundung be man later kuna sabi ji bima deka sometimes dañ dé dem dé suñ pompe soko ibé ndox du ñew ñun luckily borom kër bi fuma deka fi mom dafa dafa install a borehole, so borehole bi mo ñoo help in sangu and lot of other issues, but the water it's not drinkable comme nan ko neexul. So these are challenges yo xamne ba doole bi dafa sona dafa muna am lot of jafe-jafe ak challenges in this area. Learn nañ fi about our health sector. Yes, it's a challenge. ñu ngi taraay waaye ba tey dafa des. Soo déggee nit ki mu ne la health sector bi amul problème feebaru dem fa wala mbokkaam teddu fa o demul seeti fa nit. That's the time you will see these challenges yoo xam ne moo fa nekk di am. But ñi fa am patient jaar fa o xam nit ko xam ne tedda na fa ñu fa dem frequently they see these challenges. Bokk na ci loo xam ne dañ war a xoolaat di ticketing. Of recent gaa yokka nañ ko $200. Because liñ doon charge dafa tuuti yii lañ war di def assessment sometime moo tax li ma laa ne problème du ñaaka lan mooy problème bi ak lan la ñoo def pour solve ko man dama feel ne solving problems ba tey des na ndik doo mën a solve yenn issue soo xamul lan la xam lan la bi nag mooy information dissemination bi maa wax foog ñuy génna di engage media bi di wax ak nit ñi that fear of media bi farut ak man su ma demee fii loolu la moo wax ñaaka xam how to engage media. Majola example, since time in past man bima ame that role within APRC to be, a mouthpiece for the party. Amud ben media buma fi musaragal, okuma invite Majola excuse na di madam. I will go. Even suma hamene sayo media bi laigulo suma party, I will go and discuss issues. Latte ak tontu la, lu bari lo buga pour ma leral ko. Suma ko leral, when will people know where the truth lies?
su fekkee ne allegations moo nekk di float in the social media or moo nekk di dem around socially man génnuma ma wax lan mooy dëgga o man tam ma sound suma opinion. How can people make a balance pour ñu xam ne ok kii lu mu wax make na sense tey soo déggee ñu bari ñu ne ok xaaral ma déglu Dudu Jali moom because I am saying it maa ngi wax su ma toogoon ma noppi people will not know me waaye li ñoo dégg ci li ma wax la ñu gis ne ok kii li mu wax ni dëgg la o kii is somehow honest o kii li ma wax make na sense loolu moo isi di following so loolu dafa war a nekk a lesson for every government. You need your own media. Why doyut? Parce que yow sa own media daf la promote yow mu gaay sa agenda. Léegi beneen media boo xam ne ñoom ñu ngi create propaganda against yow. It's your obligation nga dem dugga seen biir nga leeral sa stand.
ñoom tam Gambian la. We all Gambians. Ñoom Gambians la. Yeah.
I think you can
go
borrow that credit.
So génnee ne sampana marché fii people will see it ma defar yoon bi and it becomes publicity. Dañoo am ne government defar na lii waaye the publicity aspect of it dafa lack. And then ci war a taxaw bu baax a baax lot of things lu government wax liñ liggéey comme ni ma la ko waxee man su ma demutoon on the meet the people tool du ma ko yëg and ñu bari ñu ngi fii soo leen laajee dañ laa ne nguur bi defu fi dara because they are not being well informed of li xew ñeneen ñi duñ seetaan news and they are not following the media platforms so they are not well aware of li nekk di am so that information dissemination is very important. Buñ focus rek
and would you say that's lacking? That's lacking.
Suma bindee press release. War naa mun a ñëw ci media platform bi ñu discuss that press release. Ñu laaj ma questions ma tontu because medium bi English la not everybody understands it. Léegi di radios dañ ko dee read ñoom nu mu leen neexee. Because English nga war ko translate to Wolof and Mandinka it will never be the same. We have to agree. Yow sa own understanding rek that's how you interpret it.
Jërëjëf Karamba nga malam fay kam moy la sayba
yes nke moy la Mustafa.
Okay, great stuff nga ku jamala kaje ko ma jam bari lafta nga min yemma ko minto coming ñing disconnect min ba fo kan mole ku jamala fo jang modol ko foaria ka tinale modol ko wasabale ka tinale modol ko tribe region aning ku jamala bije but disconnect mi alon ko abe politician ol tema aning political leader ni la mol aning banku dingol asutu foarol Karaba mune nyin sabu ite amira
yo abaraka bake Mustafa comme ngafo nyame mbe albera hakodan la mbe dokud lal non den kuodol nata bulan kunna jang bo fan emergency nature so wala tinna mbe njam fatal la programme wala so men ka jatan ko mawo to moy bake and bari la nyinin karo disconnect me ya tinna ndela jero fe democracy tata dunia daoda democracy asulo ana bulolu ana dingol bemu engagement let conversation nyaaje disconnect kake o nyaaje fanan mol fawon si carte fay me yalon ko safa ko ha kari de afela carte fay kariye adum senelale mari bar wo mandara lola ya senola munana ya fayaje because among information o soto democracy kat atarambulo beta dana da information o nimmo information o soto aka kuolu jaba kete woto no afayele then akala miro tamandi wo information o kam yo me disconnect ko ni warandi na politiko ko na politiko fana nasindi wolom lack of information yaje diamula laba Mr. Jabe diam kan jetu momen mo jama bije ikatara politiko ko ka amira ko committee ka ko follow nyamen mo fana be ka follow wala nyam ay même photo nyalo mo jama bije hani news fango buka follow back yo mo jama fana ben na banko kan democracy ya to doron ne long bari ataram bulolu anin itella lodula momenti democracy to o man ko yima back so nil londo man sorno democracy to back kamol filindi aka sone ya jawken nyen na politiko jube patiyol beto politiko ka tama nyame kamol le wulindi doron yeta dole bije wal katar mol filindi kande nyin kamma ye mol nati itela kafokon bari imantaje kamol susundi kafoyo ko planol mu nyinati ite fanna role mu nyinati democracy kadun ite nim president be kanyandale carte kilne bal bebul bari ite lo carte kilne wole be la polu be tamandira wala membe fasala anding ite fon la hamme ko mu mendi e be la fila man sekunda e ferol melke lo carte kilne wala be garde la wo beto bari ni nata moye filindi isilo karta kilin tale ya fay dulato o ya fay moye me ya lon ka be tele man toro kafula talon na fang ya jel so wala ya tinna na politiko nasita bake wala ya tinna fanan kuolo aka sone ya jawke mor ka keno kome nyang konkoro be nyame isitara ya jamme no ma serum ya jamme ti jandoro yebo je ko ke ya jamme bota je la pat yobe je bari ibsu bo je yeta kafu do kon yebo kafu do kon yeta kafu do kon yeta kafu do kon because politiko nyim mantrata kan on information ni moy information o soro joram balum democracy do because democracy buka tamano filo kon aha ni molu man ko dul long hani dino ni mo mala dino long isa filin dino jel asi kudo ke alabatoti sa tara wote alabatoti yaje because modo bije Singapore la president follow ka fa leak one yo I offer ko if you fall for a nice fast talking person yela banko karafama isindi misa because abetarla ko doron ne jata tarle teje so jumala bo distinction okay no wala mo me information also so the disconnect emanates from the fact that the level of information or the number of informed voters or informed citizens it's not optimal. So you can have all kinds of what people are calling political entrepreneurs going around. All they do is they traffic in the ignorance of people and mislead them for their own interest. So if you disconnect, it is an informed voter will not be disconnected from his democracy because he will know the sovereignty lies in him or her, and then he wouldn't listen to a third party to make up an informed choice.
Okay. Akumara. Yeah. Karamba. Yalo ye feeling the role for ila diamo kono and misleading you for je. Bari minni ka nyinke Gambia dingullo. Minni ka nyinke politik nyaton kollo. Yamira. Muna bakela la kono to diati woliye because ni ajibe jama minni ka ke leyango ti nyinko kono mala minni ka koleaso to nyinko kono aka ke foarole andunte momo kamol nakari ikamol filinde wala kamol nene pour que la carte soto abuka ke kuti mi alonko adiata nye back abuka dianje so muna bakela la kono to diati wo fanna la karamba
wolom nyaton kol ye alama silama nati la tamandiri nyato ila dino mu ko kuti ya lon kadi ko mbe mori nyinin ka kan trust lega mbe mori nyinin ka kan ye lanna mbe mo because ni mori ye tambindi Mustafa imam fisiyet ye tambindi jiko la kamba nyin kamma ko ete be lola itella hajo leto yo ke la priority ikana ite fon kun ko ke la priority bar na politiko anin na politiki nyatin ko jama mol katara politiko ko na aya tari dalilo me ye dundi ye fansun kunkolo na falo so nimmo be o nyama o mosi falle kanay ka kuru so nyiya kuru iba fala ite nyone na mansur kabri nyim banko lota ni te bota jang mote ku ko no la jang and then so amari katara wo babul la kono and then abuka care kotek yaje abuka care at all because ni ayatara moli tambindi adu wolle ko yete sula ite suto lala ite tilibulo lala ibetalla lori walla ko la adu la ko sikete bulu dunoti ni wolen nim banku dol fata banku dol nim mona da president yala sanji kilin sanji fula ko be koy because pressure lamo and then abakata kanne kanyin puru mol men jikitala akane jamfa ala tamandiri nyakon bari ya ndella mo findu opposite lam bibi ningede Mustafa ke president ya moy isi terol soto melialon ko kombo gunjuri tenen mawlije dolbe bolonan ne fo fatoto ibina ibe tantan ko sile nyin kama ibe kurula le puru ite nyantal lodula men kala banko molbe e kana oke ite be min nyinin ne bulu doro yew soto e bulu so hadu molomu ani alama silama tela tamandiri nyaado nimbe kono to diyala mba folele ni sita imaje entel melmo muslimolti ka fo nyen na tariko kono khalifa kilindolo ma ko alien tambinde mamfisi altide nimma ka nyama ala fonye ninga kal nyama ala fonye wol yela tamandil nyaake la bete yata ntel nimben namol kono diyala mba folele ko na banko mol be batarin na banko mol be batarin bakle dudu jaaye mem fo nimmem ko lobtanol be bete yarne wodo atela mole man kuran. That is a very profound statement he made there a few minutes ago. If somebody is trying to kind of, rationalize, kafoko jata kende aba nyamal. atela mole mankura ndemem be diamule bi teng nyin tilikunte mo botan na bolon kono akurandale bansang imam femfen keno aje ya nati ndemban imam femfen keno aje fela be tilina RVH sign for a disease that is preventable but abe sirin santolo there is no the last CRR not 150,000 people. There is no one practical MD. There is no MD. There is all nurses. 5 constituencies, 150,000 people. Not one hospital.
Yeah.
Not one MD. Even if you have a clinic, put one MD there. 0.
Yeah. Anu karamba amekuntu bare wotu mo every clinic, major health center aka MD sotole nung before. Muna na policy change.
Yeah.
Muntumala policy change. Anu ngajele a few weeks ago eko Gambia mume RVH mume. Our main referral hospital, flagship hospital, eko ambulance clinic DJ. Out of all the ambulances you mentioned COVID wato, ambulance will be tata mintole. For low chikarangola tibang, for Kembu chikarangola tibang, we are turned into people's private bus taxis by Momalo. How come the 12 ambulance only mentioned COVID water? Ibe tata mintole?
Ajabirang obembule la mintam bambarangafwe because the ambulance only mentioned political ambulance only. Your ambulance only members and after 3 months, more than 3/4 of them were not roadworthy. You understand? Okay. And then far parade fana nye ambulance sang ya samba kiang queen ya paki. Okay. Ye mo piki anje iba sambala mintole. Iba sambala dao da borte auto.
Yeah.
So imanta to the medical establishment to ask them, if you ask the physicians and the nurses and people that are actually treating people, what is your priority? They are not going to say ye tapale ya ambulance or aranze all corrupt. Ye kodo be sunyaje ye ambulance cardibal sannam from Turkey ye na dinang ya ke campaign around you put it on Makati Square and you have the health minister prancing around those vehicles in the run up to the elections. He doesn't care about the health care of the people.
No,
neglectly.
Be neglectly, yes. And it is deliberate because ni lafta mo lonna Mustafa. Ni lafta nyaton ko lonna ala priority jube. Iba ala priority jube ala minto ala budgetot. Ni budgetot yentele mutala ko komen be yangol be nyame. Yes, Sareto City, la yes, Sareto.
Lafte remind la ko clean na fanang insi hakilo tuje bake nyadon ko kumayata nyadon ko la priority kumayata bari jamme fa ngala video do je ako nyin dialysis masinol ka bring a lapta sanna ye paiso mim fai ka bring ati fangtara ko America lembo fo mindo ay nata Thailand I price on nyin akijo ya fara.
Yes,
I think he bought about 10 ako kabina galie jorangol besunya.
Yes.
So yaje ate ayala kato dangoke ay jorangol nafe bari minu be marali wo jorangol la wolle munna keku.
Okay, bismillah. Ngela auto fana moy kumala sudi yakamado ngalo molbe siari bari nila najabiro mo nyina yaje te Suleiman. Ningete tambindi bi. Yo memfuten you are pointing to a real problem. But leadership is taking responsibility and executing against a problem. There are horrible people in the ministry. The ministers went into the floor of parliament. He said, I am surrounded by thieves in the middle of COVID. And then he did a public lament. And I'm saying to myself, if I were the minister and I am the president, I will go to the president and tell him, look, I have to clean house here or I'm gone. Because you have appointed me as Minister of Health. I am a physician by training. These people are the Gambia government, the Gambia Ministry of Health has more than a dozen directors. If you go to Uganda,
Minister during that time, one Minister Fama was receiving 2 salaries.
That's exactly but what I'm
two salaries. True.
Just so that. So what are we supposed to do as ordinary citizens? Somebody was voted into office. He exercised his constitutional authority and prerogatives and appointed people to his cabinet. And then his cabinet minister goes to the floor of the parliament and then says, the thieves have overtaken the ministry. I cannot do anything. And then we are supposed to just assume that is business as usual. What Suleiman is pointing to is that there are horrible people in the system. They will not do anything. But that's why we elect leaders. If we elect you, Mustafa, you are responsible then you have to act affirmatively to make sure that you deliver on the mandate.
Karamba, lafta observation kilne kala jang. Nationalism banku kano. Imamira akumara nyunko kono because nyimo fennete mi alonko nko. Ni molbe fala. Lamin Tamba, Suleiman Jeng, Dudu Ja, Salifo Mane, Karamba Ture. Ni molo be mfango be nya ka jele ko molbe fa kadne sai. Mi mutonya de alnga wofo politic ku kana bulanyinto because people are dying. We all seen it. Fotonya. So ni kumbo nyama. Ikawola fo banku kano kana janedo. Ni ela banko kano ye kuje miya lonko amanyang ela patila kuo manku maya kotenke banko la kula nyanda kumal bari nying mantara kering Gambia amantara politik patil kono malo mine osabu Karamba.
Banku kano ye oto memfo jang, this is something in my mind and I wrote about it a few weeks ago because ninna alma modolo be kacha kanje ako ya invite lenung at a high school or middle school in Kabafita to go and talk to the students, and he's a teacher, and then a Qatar round to go and give lectures and all of that. Ako, the whole lecture was about patriotism. Akate tamol melke bankol melbekang. He will be walking around. Patriotism is taught in school. Ntabeng America banko meng to jan dindingulu. From grade school, you are taught about the United States of America. You are taught that it is your duty and your responsibility to care about it, that this is a trust from God, and that you have a responsibility to be a good citizen. Until the problem moment is not in the curriculum, and then increasingly, people are very much focused on themselves. Most Gambians that you deal with, their highest priority is themselves. Is it a sate okono ko alinga yirolu fu ijang? Ite mo sort la melbe volunteer la kayo yirolu jibong so that they come unless you pay somebody. And then niwa yiro nata is barajo sotoje, is dubengo sotoje, is nafa sotoje. But then the sense of I want to do something for somebody else. Ni taratel la kombo gunjur, few people will go and clean the beach. This is a beautiful trust for the whole country. Banko bere nyanta bennaje to take care of that environment. But we are not that civic minded because banko kano amantaren na politiko kono, amantaren na
Okay, I'll throw this here. Ni wobo kering jama de label you alla komi nyim politik patil miati nande fango dobije nalla purka layla ako kolea ni fenke mia lonko moye minke ajibe fo ay adama dingol makoele rather than aba politik party minto anu Gambia ni fenke mia lonko isa foko opposition long isa foko nyim party car long so womu fenete mia long molla jernya wo franco matale you know.
Come Karamba mem for the beginning. Yeah, go ahead. No brother. Go ahead.
No, let me ta.
Yeah, Karamba mem for what? Near very advanced, well advanced societies all Jube. Indoctrination, especially societies like Japan. Hani katama silo kang yameng is indoctrinated from a very early age. Yeah? Nibetama kan Japan on a pavement. Ikalone, if you're going westbound on a road, ibetara silola buluba silola kang. Melbeta kang eastbound, walbeta la silola mara bulo kang katateng. So that pavement on yin kang molkana takinyola, akana far back. So melkata tiliji, walkata silola o mafandola, melkata tilibo walkata silola mafandola. It begins from a very early and yena wall no man na Facebook. And yemen fojan walem. People don't listen sometimes. Wala it cannot diamo kango ika belittle because nka APS la support it all man lafi President Jamela. But they know alone konka men safe wala nka men for sometimes substance bijele. Indoctrination can start from nursery school. You learn our national anthem, our Gambian pride. We can manufacture our own stuff. We can build our own stuff. Yeah? Public service before self-interest. I want to be proud. I want my community to award me for innovation, for something in the community. Yeah, Jele. For every time, if we cannot change our school curricula, we have to institute compulsory national service. If you are high school or senior secondary school, by force, if you do regimented services to discipline our community. Yeah, moile. Niye moje abetama kan silokan. Ay nyambe nyebe domo. Ala paketo nying akana fai. Akembuso kono inaye tama. Ebe futala binto wala mbalite oto ya fai woto. Kana domo rek ya fai silokan. Wala moja abe moto borindela palantero jindi rek ay mburu kunto fai silokan. All these things start from a very early age. We need a very well-disciplined society. Na politiko ni aje me problem o soto kang. Mol me yalon ko fente kungol kono. E kungol be sukiring are the loudest people in our politics. Mol ke la moela. Instead of telling them nendi robula. Ibe men fokan kamo to me, accusing them of nothing. Falsehood. Allah stop. Before you come out and start putting things in the public domain, cross-check it. Ya jube koteng, ya senkan jube, then you nata public. What not be, even though Molman Lafintella, it more than na 3 posts ya foko a false information or supply to the public. Because ni mo ya fonya because ima lafi barola, nka foko okay, a email o bebul lebang, wala natalo bebul lebang, wala video bebul lebang, na table nka folo okay, mbe modo nyin kalale, nga modo nyin ka 3 people. Ni wali a confirm fe in government wala in the securities. Sometimes ka cool safe government fango bukalong until when I say like the coup d'etat happened last year. They wanted to hang me for it. But I had credible information. So there's something called nationalism and there's something called partisan politics. When it comes to football, nake killing a scorpion support. When it comes to health services, for me NPP latibang, for me UDP latibang, for me APRC lati ibadi ma bitala loptanoto. Now make so Adama Barola budget reflects positively on agriculture, health, education. Because mbele ka benefit wo fengola. Then when it comes to partisan politics, nsinanga o jube when politics time or sita. But with nationalism, ning security situation obe fonye, everybody should be concerned. Nibe mo bunkan kidola CRR, everybody should be concerned. Amanso to aketa CRR le, ahaputa bakari tera wale, wala haputa dudu yala, we have to. Thank you.
Malo mine asabu for molla Gambianol ela jero kola akafoko kombon kolom, fonyin kolom, manding kolom, surwalom, jolalo haningi. So you know be mo kullete mi along come dudu yaya for in the beginning ko aka contribute le kulto. And it's saying fahabro abedasarinne karamba salifu dudu sol.
Yo Mustafa. Okay, before ngela nying question o jabi. Moli diamo fo jang nationalism, patriotism, you know. But mune will be undermine ndola society to. Wolom nyi mistrust. Yaje mistrust is responsible for a wide range of miscommunication, disconnection in our politics. Mulmang mul trust. Many alonko they are in power. Mulmang mul trust. Many alonko it will more lead politically. Let me give you an example. The Gambia, the Gambian migrants, they sent back home a little over $600 million in remittances in 2022. And yet we are not allowed to vote. So, with all the patriotism, maybe home or abroad, but even abroad, it a vote kelano. Ndola Liz John, for example. Ninjine Bissau ko la votes carte fayo sida. Ifan kaje sate kono jande ko Jine Bissau ko le bina carte fayo because ikatara jurmurin dal tole they have a right to vote and they can vote le. Senegal the same, Ghana the same, Nigeria the same, Zimbabwe the same. But as a Gambian, it makes you feel so ashamed of yourself and your country. So niko patriotism. And yet itala kodo ikamin send Gambia. Mbela kodo ntol kamin damandaman ki Gambia 2022. $600 million sent to the Gambia. It's between 40 to 45% of national GDP, remittances from abroad. And yet those people are not allowed to vote.
I think nationalism, I remember growing up as a lad in the provinces. Banjul Declaration in Delngaje, come Jawara la Natalol, and in Lakono Fingol Bay. And I think we started learning it, you know, in the primary school and high school. And there was a set day, everybody would come out, you clean the whole area, like all the streets, all and it was far. But after that, you know, wonata fa momang thing kalamuda udo. But ibajila ko fanang nationalism and patriotism atena nola naya tara amandati suokono anina dine nyaton kol, because comme ya fo nyamen lanaya be jele bari yalon dine nyaton ko naketa to nyamoti asilata alala wo buka mansa jube aka kumol fo mi yalon ko abe mobe bulala silo kan so banku kano ala fango ko ite mbatuno la ni man lo janni be ala ibe silala alala ibalon na jumale mo alati so funga long na banko mu muneti delbe momo ila hako anila tamandirnya anila lonya mu muneti pour banko nyi yita nyato so follow suo kono tilingo aning malo ikapo nyadi equality inyanta wo sabatindi la suo kono le bari baje la suo kono dindingol kambanol ni sunkudundingol iba fala sunkudundingol kambanol yeta football la sunkudundingol buka funti ika wol bula suo kono o kambanol wol buka fitaroke buka kuroke buka tabiroke sunkudundingol le ka wol fo so wo ka fatam fanso le nati so kabringo wato e ka hitande kel la ko kamman ida ding kel la ko al tel al manyan na nyinni kela al sissa so le nyanda nyinni kela so ibe ni ke bata wonya hande muso so ibe wo treat la comme yela sissa so je yo treat nyame so wo kuma ya da bake pour ngana dingol bring up in a way me alonko ni kita alfati sama isi banko marano tilingola isi banko marano alanya silingola andung isi mube bunya diala anala hormo ka diala then need fudata school karango wato na school system I hope ko to bring education ministry nying itata Rwanda pour kaje story ning fengol nata na mia lonko would change and would inculcate na culture nying and in na tradition nying and in lafta na banko yake minute sama because dindingol ni me karandi comme yela banko kanu hanni ke bayate de banko kanu la because ajube wato for example pompol kon e kam pompol ke nying street hall kon street hall e ka fo man sakundala pompolem so modi je mialo ko abe kala wol pompo we betinyala mota fola e mbatunga na nyin dada because nati nyata mbe buga jiyo soto bo ibaji la ko man sakundala fengolem so nobody would care sahen wol tinyata dula jamal bije de la ko pompol na bari kabringi bedunje ikamu bele mako so fonganna banko kano isaje ngana nyato kendol tombonno bari nimman banko kano man la fi fanna ndi nyato kendo tombonna because mbe mo tombonna comme karambaya ko nyame na kunkilin na fa kam abanda because ninga je ko ninga karamba nga ke nyato nkoti aben na fala because wo hadama yani hormo min benna tema nsi benefit on mba sal balila because ma fola salute ma ko ila salute nyinke bari ninga je ko weda salem o karamba momo bije mbela nafa le bije dina kunkli nafa damante o sala kunkli nafa damante den onku kano kana wonyale anu niye moja abe limba yafu bari jama bije hanniye moja be wandi kordado sungo dunda wandi kordato e buka wuri sungo because iba fola na kordante bari na bota wo kordato sai bi sama si dunno la kordato na fama ka fonu ako kordatio nie duoje e nyongo kordatio kumo kan e wuri ya bay because ni ma bay na bota jabe na la role kumo kan
ya to nyaale Suleiman jolal ko nyaade ni ila nebo ila sinyo ala kordabe dimba taka ba mutakan isa mako ya taka bo because ni sita ko aben sinyo la fenko la to bungo don na jane kan ni ma mako yalo ne taka be dan na damen bang
hani
yo so thank you very much ko mbatu nga jola la program ko
lamin afoni jola kan
yo ko jola ko ne kalim sakiya ko sofja samanes ananjila horum ko sofja samanes rambe no mana a fok samanes o rambe toja samanes ana manju tan soto mberede samanes responsible be kalim sakiya opo so therefore let's not wait for naye makoy ning problem oni yentol affect nga wuli naye na sinyo affect nga wuli Yeah, ngalon dudu jamu jola bari ni ngola tabal mako la translation notore jola kangoto dudu. Dimalel guy why please. Thank you.
Okay, watu tata bake kachabe diani bari kukili yen sunyan ayen sula nyin ko kono bake abe kerine na kachakungo kulbe dundi nyo kono bakele andung minika ke Gambia dingolong minika ke they come from a home, a house, a community, society, tribe ikabot tuol le kono ni be suol kono maybe is a ke mo kendolti bari o mo kilingol la ke presidentolti o mo kilingol la ke ministeralti o mo kilingol la ke nyatongolti ni be suol kono ibeta ni bota je all of a sudden ke mo si fa kotengol lete minni alonko maybe ka tolfanga they go against us so you know fennete mi alonko ibe keri ne benga alonde sai muna bakela etela kono to diati dudu la henyu bir manam topic bitay topic title what are your thoughts final thoughts
jërëjëf think it's very important lu am solo la buñ em rek ci wax dëgg la wax moo jiitu pour nit ñi ñu mun leena like a wake up call ñu xam lu xew ak ñu xam lan moo war I think it needs to be lu war a continuer la daal ñu ko waxtaanee comme civic education jubluwaayam bi mooy pour nit ñi jàngal leen parce que nit ñi ñaari problème lañ am xam nga su la léegi-léegi soo waxee nit ki ne ko eewuloo mu jàppane danga ko saaga eewuloo mooy ne yëguloo lu xew nit mun naa am xam-xam jàngana waaye liy dox yëgut ko so kooku dafa soxla ñu ko pour alaat ko la mu gis ne ok lii moo nekk di dox léegi jàngat bi mooy tax mu xam lana nekk ci biir loolu so ñaari dañ ko soxla torop loolu mooy jubluwaay civic education pour nit ñi ba pare ñu xamal leen nit ki su demee ba xam dina mun a make an informed decision yu bari polarisation bi disconnect bi den léegi li ñu war mooy naka la ñoo connecté léegi pour ñu connect nag nit ñi ñooy mun a make an informed choice moo tax ma ne step la foog ñu leen ñu jàngal leen den su boobaa ñoom suñ eewoo ba xam liy dox dina yomba pour ñu make an informed choice it is very very important wax rek doyut suñ waxee ne nañ daje ñu wax ku nekk di wax lu ko neex ok at the end of the day dinañ wax teg ko fa ñu tasaaroo still duñ nekk on the same page so issue suñu nekk di affect foog ñu adresse ko pare ñu offer solution duy em rek nit ki mu wax dara waaye lan lañ war a def pour solve ko is very important léegi ñu nekk on the side of opposition or holding government accountable loolu moo dee manqué dañoo gis fault rek ñu joxoñ foofu o ñu pin out ko ne lii amul waaye lan lañ war a def loo xam ne moo ko solve ñu bari dañ ko dee reserve ñeneen ñi xam nañ ko sax waaye faruma ak government bi rek I don't have to offer solution foog naa si gannaaw ñu ngi elaborate the highlight about nationalism patriotism it should go beyond the political lens parti bi la bokka o kii la support dëkk bi pour ñëpp la su neexee mu naat ñun ñëpp suñ njëriñ la despite ban government moo fi nekk o ban political party moo nekk in charge suñ focus suñ target mooy lan la ñoo def Gambia mu dem kanam and Gambia dafa war a dem kanam man dama dee wax ne dëkk bu ndaw la Gambia is a country boo xam ne benn fan ñaar nga wër ko nga ñëw toog unlike other countries te ñëpp a connect lii xew fii da ngaa ekkati sa téléphone call ku nekk base fekk moom tam yëg na ko we are very much connected and niñ mel fii soo tukkee dem dëkk yu bari doo ko fa fekka connection buñ am even koo xam ne bokku leen dara sa waaye xamante daf dee tax seen diggante gën a dëgër dan ñi nga bokkal because nooy communiquer ak moom noo leen dee gisee looy ñeme pour defaral ko looy ñeme pour wax ko sa soxla du ci fekk sa mbokka pour man that is a blessing in disguise so yii lañ war a saxal dëgg la dinañ wax dinañ criticize dinañ sound suñ opinion waaye at the end of the day nañ am benn focus mooy ñun ñëpp lan lañ war a mun a contribute pour dëkk bi mu dem kanam despite ban parti moo fa nekk or the government of the day they cannot do it all ñun tam di litul buñ am war nañ di ko share war nañ di ko joxe génne ko mu doon njëriñ ayda mu njëriñ ñu directly or indirectly moo xam yaa ngi Gambia oo nekkuloo fi am na problème su bari tey su yombee mu sol fii ñoom mi nekk ci diaspora bi li ñoo yónnee sax mun naa wàññeeku they could use those finances pour ñoom tam seen on soxla oo yu bari yuñ bëgg a def waaye dependent ci ratio bi su nekkee di yokku ki ci diaspora bi tam du mun a nokkale unless nga cut off ties with the people down here then you'll be able to ignore them why if not every day di nga am issue si
based on dunda bi fi ni mel ak the way people are working. So degala nit ñi dañ nit pour ñu leen ñu jangal leen ñu xam lu xew motax di programme it's very important liñ fay waxtane. I hope rek ne bu mu fi am nako nit ñi digest ñu jël ko tam mu agé ci ñeneen ku nekk mu ségg ko lo xamne daf sé juru njëriñ daf ñoo mëna dimbalé ñun ñëpp.
Jërëjëf Lamin, your final thoughts.
Yeah, so my final thoughts are the long and short is we need to continue education because it's the foundation of many, many things that could become great in our country. And we need to start now. Our education curriculum needs to change. Some other countries, African countries, need to change their curriculums to reflect the fact that we're sovereign people. We have our own ways of living, what we call culture. We have to take culture into context when we're doing everything that we're doing. The days of learning about pests that no longer exist in the Gambia, the days of learning about issues that no longer are relevant to Gambian politics, then Kawara by Ghana. We need to think about our country first. Yeah? Nationalism, patriotism, think about public service. If you're not advocating for advancement of public service and the digitization of public service, because yange I kickbacks or yange make Harris side, it will not work in the long run. It's like a vicious cycle. You're corrupt because the money that you're supposed to build the public services with, you're putting it in your pocket. The next minute you're sick, you go to the hospital. The next minute your child, who was supposed to benefit from quality education from that money, never could benefit. If we run public services properly and we go towards the digital transformation of our economy, salaries, they'll increase as Duduja mentioned. They'll go to maybe minimum 10,000. The government is making enough money to be able to increase every other civil servant's salary. But if that money is not going into the public coffers and the public coffers are not administered properly, that's what you call leakages. Too many leakages in the Gambia. You have a minister standing up and saying 148 million has gone missing from my department. Or we've got 73 people killed by administration of medication from a company that's not accredited by the WHO or any other external body. And then the president will turn up and say they're doing a great job. Okay, I'm not politicizing it, but we need to start punishing people for wrongdoing. We need to make sure people are provided the tools for to do their jobs. But if they don't do it properly, you take remedial action. That remedial action cannot come when we allow people to openly tell us that the department is failing, but we retain them several years after that pronouncement. So now, education is key. We need to make sure we basically review our public services and make sure everyone working in the public sector gets a pay upgrade. But that will come from people doing their job properly to a point where you will not need to pocket any money. You will not need to do anything silly to get more money in your pocket. But at the same time, that money, as soon as you get home, your daughter is sick, your son is sick. Instead of going to government hospital and paying just $100 to get seen, you go to a private clinic where they charge you $5,000 for an MRI scan or CT scan. The medication hasn't come yet. The lab tests haven't come yet. So therefore, the 10,000 that you just stole from public service, you just thrown to a private entity instead of developing your own country. The cycle is going to continue. So we need to take one bit of pain once and for all. It's like surgery. You have pain, appendicitis. You know, go and do surgery and then no, the maragal paka, buguma ñu harsuma denabi. Yeah, wala ñu harsuma birbi. But you're going to be in pain for a long time. You take the pain once and for all. There has to come a head of state or an administration. We make sure they punish everyone, but in the right way, putting things in place. Within 4 or 5 years, all these salaries will automatically increase because the government will be efficient. There will not be many leakages. And by that, we can look at the government now going into surplus. That surplus can go into paying public administrators across the country. Thank you very much.
Jerejef, thanks a lot. Sal, your final thoughts. Kono to dia.
Yes.
Yes,
Abarakabake Mustafa, Abarakabake Dudu Karamba, Lamin, Mr. Jeng. Intela jero to namira ro fananto. We need to improve communication between all the stakeholders. Many being political. So ninko stakeholders, I mean, voters nyolu, politician olu, mansakunda, mobe. There needs to be improved communication because karamba kumado fonunjanko lack of information. So in moment information sort of wrong, I feel a disconnect because we're looking at disconnection. Munika nying fenko nying stakeholders mini baby political kono. Munike disconnect. Your example will see it, but the key example would be the National Assembly members ila lifestyle is over and above the average Gambian or a lifestyle. And it shouldn't be like that. More may vote into politics, put your lifestyle improve. More you vote into politics, pull more many vote into politics, all a lifestyle say improve. But instead, it all a lifestyles can improve. So a big disconnection that. The other one for healthcare, agriculture, education. Bankula priorities ka kenying areas. But that's the fact though. At this point in time, na healthcare is being neglected in a very, very awful way. Ninko neglected, ni asambanam back to basics. Ni te badi sasata. Ala first port of call kake minute, mintolet. Natata local femko do clinic nyinto. Ate borso tola noje. Isafai ko be referral. Ni refer to ni major hospitals. It would take ages before a doctor would. Eventually ne doctor of fananje na ko abika foino ko exactly mila diagnosis at that point in time, and all that you want to know is munumna sasati muna nyanda kala the treatment but yaje step or step ta you delaying ila treatment and wo into la mola lives are put at risk. So wo disconnect, it needs to be looked at critically. Ntol fanan minje fanan ko kono the politician and the mini in power. Ima long exactly what are the needs of the country and its people. Ni along fanan imantara cool ke kanye min bentola situation or improve. Because ni the sita be after 1, 2, 3 years, it's a check and balances. What have I achieved? What have I not achieved? What were the obstacles? How do I go about the next stage? But we'll be big and ni be kela fananyenta kela transparently. So I think how does our sitting government need to tailor ila agenda and in development plans towards the development of the whole country, not regionally? And if Masakunda nita jibela, how can they improve more min be diaspora ila connection ntul bejang hani yemoto nyima lombang domor dima lombang supermarket nyima lombang kulintila nyima lombang nibe abroad ni aje drong ikanga ni ila suwo kono le I wish I can get this nga send back home abe more life transform la nyami. So munatina every sitting government and more min be diaspora ibika connect. Why do we still not have a minister of the diaspora? And if we have one, why has none of them come to Leeds yet? So all this is part of the bigger picture of the disconnect. So we need to try and narrow this down. From the non-partisan le use labang, from the patriotism le use labang, from the nationalism le use labang, but we need to de-accelerate the acceleration in the disconnect.
Thank you very much, Sal. Saul, your final thoughts.
No, Araba, live in Karamba because most in Ganmom.
Well, Karamba begin.
Mbijan abaraka
bake. No, apetiara Karamba Sol kela mwela bake la ngamera Sol ita te ilafta miomina it's okay no atalale.
Tol more inshallah. I really appreciate.
So Karamba kacha kono fanuta kacha diata kacha warata bake.
No.
Mbala fila yen kono to dia na kacha kungola bi coming as any text message to nyame. Mina bakela ila kono to dia Mr. Ture.
Abaraka bake ila nyin kacha kumaya da bake and ning panelists all be alla contribution all be da bake. Yo mba follow la daming nsonda dudu ye memfo ko nyantale ngakata in addition to the criticism to also work additionally hard in offering solutions. I agree with that as a proposition. I also agree with Lamin Tamba's emphasis that in a democracy, you have to have accountability. We cannot just say something is wrong and then there are identified culprits and then there are identified flaws in the system and then we continue as business as usual. When you do that, you'll be on a treadmill. Nothing will get addressed.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. If the health sector is failing, you have to hold people who are acting as fiduciaries for that department. You have to put them there has to be some accountability for that, because you do accountability not because you want to be vindictive. You do accountability because you want to validate the proposition that this is a rules-based system, that we are responsible to the people. The people put us there to serve them. If you have no accountability, then you are not going to be able to take corrective measures, and you wouldn't serve your people. And at the end of the day, that affects everybody. And then, Mustafa, your emphasis also that everything akamunda kulu kan sumunalam abukamokari moma besirin kulo nyin kan jedro, you will be affected. So ultimately, on public policy, we need to evolve a system where we all have a culture of engaging and saying, on the big issues, here is where we need to go. And that is going to take everybody participating, because participation is the lifeblood of a democracy. And because our politics is sick, and because we have a deficiency of information in terms of our people making informed choices, one thing is leading to the other. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So how do we get out of it? We get out of it by engaging in the manner that we are doing here today. We don't all agree. We certainly don't all come from the same political party, but we all have a passion for our country, and we are all concerned that there is a problem. You understand? So nimbe kono dia kelamba fala nyaton kolo alisi aliyella mo yali fangolla alisi aliyalla mo jube. Mustafa, it is a tragedy that we have a national budget that effectively serves less than 1% of the people near Jube, because the government is essentially in business for itself, and the budget is crafted by the people who then have the responsibility of executing the same budget. So ikake kaur sadalati. Yaje. So ninga reta munako tiolati kombogunjur in the 2024 budget, there is nothing in there for you.
No.
Nothing. Because you are not going to get a paycheck. You are not going to get any subsidies. If you get sick, you don't have somebody in London or Birmingham to send you money to go to a private clinic. You are doomed.
Yeah.
You understand? And if you have children, if you leave them in the public school, they'll be stuck. It's not like when you and I were coming up, because the public schools were the only game in town. Mm-hmm. Now it is a trap to sort of produce functionally illiterate high school kids. What are we going to do with all these hundreds of thousands of young people who are choosing death as an alternative to setting roots in their own country? Because we have failed as a country. So our budget does not reflect our priority.
No.
The individuals and the population are an afterthought of the budget. There is nothing in the nearly $40 billion they will spend. That doesn't. It's gonna go to the MPs are doing very good, and I think Sal was complaining about them. The MPs they are not legislating for our good.
No,
none of. I mean, they are not as an institution. There are a handful of good ones among them, but then it does not amount to a hell of beans, because the overwhelming majority don't care. They are there to collect anything that they can, and then they are being played like a yo-yo by the office of the clerk, which is the institutional guy pulling all the strings. And then some of these people don't even know how to read anything. So they just raise their hands, and then they squeeze everything out of poor people, and then they are like clowns.
Yeah.
They have forgotten us. And then the people that are responsible for this, and God is going to ask every single person, what did you do for the Gambian people when you swore to the Quran and the Bible that you will do everything in your power to serve them? They are not serving us. But we as the citizens, we cannot relent. We cannot throw our hands and then in despair and say, oh my God, what is going to happen? We have to fight. Fighting is not easy, but it is necessary, and it is a duty on every single one of us. So on a final note, I will say, let us remain engaged. And then also let us work on the art of conversation. When there is a public good and then we build consensus around the public good, even our bad leaders, we might, by some miracle, be able to get their attention. But people that are sitting down crafting $30-something billion budget, you're not thinking about anybody in Fonyi. You're not thinking about anybody in Kulari. You're not thinking. You are leaving everything to insiders and their cronies and thieves and people that are legislating benefits that are just outrageous. And then they are doing it in broad daylight. It's as if they are saying, we are a cheeky bunch. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We will seize your money. We'll buy cars with it. We will steal everything. Can you imagine somebody withdrawing millions from Brikama Area Council accounts? And then all the council did. And then this is all. There is APRC councillors there. There is NPP councillors. There is UDP councillors. All of them voted unanimously. They said, Yaki, God, please remove this guy. Bring us somebody else. And then you investigate him. But you didn't call the police. You didn't do anything. You turn it all into some kind of a political football. Oh no, the thief has to come back. You don't have any right to send a thief away. They have committed felonies. When you forge a bank statement, it's a felony.
Yeah.
When you withdraw public funds, it's a felony. You understand? When you inflate contract, when you go and contract an illegal loan from Jar Oil, it's a felony. If you need to bring in the fraud squad, give us all the papers. Forget about the bureaucratic process in the ministry. Just stop a thief. No matter how much you dislike the chairman or any other people, but at least have some regard for I am a taxpayer in West Coast. I have a home in Kersering. So somehow I'm going to pay I pay my taxes as a citizen. So I'm going to give my taxes so that this guy can just withdraw it. He's not even hiding the way he's stealing the money. He just takes the money out of the bank and take it home. So at least on that one, there should not be any partisan argument. The council unanimously are saying, we suspect this guy is doing this. Here is the bank documents. We put it all together. You said, oh no, send it through the bureaucracy. And then while you are doing that, let the thief come back up again. These people have been there 5, 6, 7 years. They have withdrawn all the millions. So why should that be a controversial issue? We are not saying let's make a referendum and make it a contest between an NPP candidate and a UDP candidate. No, we are saying your appointed official. We, the council, don't have authority to do it, but here is what he's done. Please take him away. You want to give him due process, yes, but remove him from the council, bring somebody else. Some college graduate or some accountant or somebody, you say, look, you go and oversee this place for until we sort this mess out so that his rights are protected, but you respect the people, the hundreds of thousands of people of West Coast who have elected people and they've given them a mandate to go and stop this madness. But you are doing all of that in the name of politics. The chairman in Basse is doing well, and I encourage and I applaud them for at least not trying to defy the people of Basse. He came in and then he said, look, I don't want this guy suspended, I want him dismissed. They accommodated him. And what is this? Why should it come down to that? We want accountability in all of them. The one from my own native Kuntao Area Council has left his position for 3.5 months. He's here in America, illegally. And then the council cannot do anything. It is the local government commission. They are ignoring it because it's their guy. This is maddening, and it doesn't do anybody any good. What benefit is to an NPP guy in Kuntao Area Council if their chairman is AWOL for 3 months, 3.5 months? He's not on the job. But
is he getting paid? Do you know if he's getting paid?
Of course he's getting paid. And then he came here for a useless nonsense meeting that only he attended that meeting because it's a talking shop. He took $600,000 of it. This is the poorest council in the country. They don't have a dime to their name, but he took $600,000 of it to come down to attend international conference of mayors in Miami, Florida. After that, he decided to sit down. 3.5 months. AWOL.
What's his name?
His name is Jawara. He's from Kaur. And then he was the incumbent.
His full name. What's his full name?
I think it's Mustafa Jawara or something. Let me check on. Yes, he's the chairman of Brikama Area of Kuntaur Area Council. Why is he do that? Because the government is protecting him essentially because he's their MP. He's their chairman. So when you do this, you look like you are sticking it to your political opponents, but you are undermining democracy itself. You understand? And then really, it should not ever come to that. On issues like this, we should have no argument.
Exactly.
So I am so my friend Suleiman doesn't think this is the right thing to do. But he's a minority on his side because they think he's a heretic for saying, Waji, this is horrible. Don't do this. We can on the political side. I am a firm believer in pluralism. I don't want one single party to be talking about all of Gambia all the time. Let's have a good competitive system. But my God, there is a thief. He's taking all the money from the people. Please remove him. How can that be controversial, Mustafa? So this is what it is. It saddens me that I will end this on a lament. But if we are going to make any progress, those in authority need to understand that they are fiduciaries. They have responsibilities that expand to the whole country. When something is wrong, don't try to protect what is wrong, and don't try to politicize everything. You don't have to like Yankuba, but 70-something thousand people voted for him. He is running a council, and then he is trying to do his best. Work with him. Even if you despise his guts, it's okay. Don't drink at high with him after lunch. But at least from 9 to 5, process it and then do things right. Most people are not interested in political argument. Most Gambians are very pragmatic. They just say, do the job for me. Just show me how you're going to do the job. That's all they want. I don't care who is running Basay Area Council, but if he's a good, honest man, if he's NPP, I'm for him. Help him clean the place over there. These area councils they are like metastasized cancer. Somebody's got to do something. So on that note, I want to thank everybody, and please keep these civic education programs going because they are important. You understand? They are important for our own soul searching, and hopefully we come for solutions. I am for solutions. I am not for endless political battles. I want us to solve problems, but it has to start with leadership, and leaders have to surround themselves with good people. If you surround yourself with empty half-time hand clappers, it's just going to be from one problem to the other. They are not interested in anything other than what they can get for themselves, and talking big on WhatsApp groups and this, and dividing people along tribal lines and increasing tensions. And at the end of the day, they get nothing other than bringing misery on a lot of people who are just innocent, and they don't have enough information. It's easy to manipulate them. They will cause all these problems, and then they'll give them cooking pots, and then they will give some guy named Pa Jan or something to give 5,000, 10,000, go and just kind of talk nonsense to these people, and they will believe it. You can hear a WhatsApp audio, and you, Mustafa, you will say, my God, I don't think anybody with common sense can take this thing at face value. But I trust me, it works. That's why they do it. It's very easy to fool people who have no information, who are very low information people. All you do is hire the charlatans, give them the pickup truck and telephones and this and a little bit of money. They will get the job done for you because they can fool thousands and tens of thousands of people. And it is sad.
It is, certainly.
Yeah. Inshallah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karamba. Saul, your final thoughts, and then that will be it.
Yeah, I want to start with Basa Area Council Chairman. He is doing absolutely very well. When he took over, I think they were owing all the staff at the council 3 months' salaries. And I think last week I saw on the Basa Area Council page that he has paid them all their 3 months' salaries. And the council doesn't owe any of its staff or employees any salary. And he's doing very well to digitalize collection system and cleaning of the area. He's doing absolutely very well. I think he's a bit like Yankuba. He's very result oriented. He's working very hard. On that note, I think Ferry, what had been and you've got great panelists tonight. Lima warek moy suñ leaders yi, suñ politicians yi dañ wara follow discussions yi. I understand ne Barrow normally do they Satan NPP TV because Nyonyu already knows they are supporting him, so that they, scout around the other, platforms that blend they Satan because that they book a pick one or two things. I think personally the man, I just don't know because sometimes that they face more of it. As a person, as a leader, I think he has the ambition. Bugana defer dekabi they glue. But sometimes like Karamba, when you have people around you, they're not informed, even so I mean ideology bubasa, if you're not very strong, then you see they gain. So pour dekabi dem kanam, I think in Chile gëna bari ñun doomi réew mi ñun ñoo wara buga suñu réew. I think amun na that ki woykat yi foog na Gambia suñu réew ñoo bokkande bokka baay ben xam something ben hala I don't know
Usunjay Senior.
yes Usunjay Senior xam nga woy yooyu is like that they inculcate a lot of patriotism in the citizenship. Waaye da nga gis ne léegi ñun ñoo xam ne ñooy means of information transporters mooy like géwél yi musicians yi imam yi teachers yi, you don't see them in most of their engagement ñuy waxtaan loo xam ne dafay jëmale doomi réew mi pour ñu gën a bugga seen réew gën a fonka seen réew. Waaye li ci gën a bari waxtaan yi de fi mu dee sosoo rek mooy yow yaay doom bu baax because yaa ngi sàcc xaalis bu bari, yaa ngi tabax ne yu cool, yaa ngi dawal moto yu fine, yaa ngi toppa jigéen yu bari, understand. So su wàlli ñëwee nga dem spend for ay thousands of dollars dem gala nights ak yoo xam ne amul benn direct or even indirect a contribution to national development. We also ñëwee ñu ne léegi sponsor am na 5 or 3 university students yoo xam ne ñu ngi struggle with their school fees 10,000 15,000 nga ne amuloo ko. Why you are willing and ready to give a side chick $60,000 $40,000 or $100,000 mu dem jënd ay mees dem ay wali dem ay gala. So these are things that we need to sit and revisit. Te so nekkee njiit waruloo ragal, not like danga war a ñeme te waruloo ragal di génn di wax fu nekk o di def loo xam ne sa warugal la, because dañ dee wax ne bot su rusee boppa rek du ko mun a fees. Nit ki mun nga am say kóllare, mun nga am say am di jàmma, mun nga am say niti démba, waaye soo nekkee njiit waruloo jiital sa niti démba sa am di kóllare ak yooyu. Danga war a jiital réew mi because biñ la jiitalee dañ la jiital pour ñëpp, jiitaluñ la pour sa am di jàmma. Su fekkee ne comme like bugga nga dëkk bi mu change, man de su dee man la ma nekk njiit ma appoint Lamin Tamba Minister of Health. Lamin Tamba ñëw mu ne ma he is surrounded by thieves and there is nothing he can do, dama ko fire because yang ma wax foofu ne yow place bi ma la dénka feesuloo ko.
Yeah,
I would send you home straight. Te dama la gëstuwaat seetaan ndax yow sàcca ñooñu ndax amuloo ci loxo o amuloo ci xale. Su ma demee ba gis ne am nga ci xale, yow it dinaa la yóbbu ci benn fu mbaxana nekkee benn. Because am nga nit ki soo buggee saxal dëgga il faut nga taxaw si dëgga nga set dëgga, because soo ko defutee mu ngi mel ni yaa ngi encourage sàcca ñooñu.
exactly.
Yaa ngi encourage incompetence.
Yeah.
Nit ki loo ko bañ bañ su defee lu baax recognize ko ne ko diw li nga def lu baax la.
Yeah.
Su defee lu bon won ko ne li nga def lu bon la, because nit man suma gom-gom mooy nit ki soo ko buggee nga bugga ko. dang koy dimbale ci dëgga te the only way ni nga ko dimbale ci dëgga mooy su defee lu déggu nga ne ko def na dëgga def na lu déggu su defee lu bon nga ne ko def na lu bon because nit ki soo nekkee di ko jaay rek kooku bugguloo ko so dañu war a gëstuwaat suñ diine bi suñ kilifa diine war nañoo seet society bi because xam nga diine bi nekkul ne every day nga preach ni rek about like dem aj or about weeri koor or about zaka ak yooyu wen fekka nit ñaa ngi dee ak xiif danga war di waare doomi adam ñoo xam ne dañ néew doole naka lañ leen a dimbale dëkkandoor yi naka la ñoo dimbalante nguur gi naka la mooy doxale ba di dimbale néew di doole yi naka la moo saxale wér gu yaram si dëkka so yooyu war nañ ko gestu because yooyu soo demee si sunna prophète bi ak sahaba yëpp dañ dee doxal yooyu you don't only focus on henna allahira ak ajana ak safara because yii foofu la war a safande ko nit ki doo mun a jaamu yàlla yow yaa ngi taxaw yaa ngi kabar di julli yaa ngi xalaat naka nga amee dépasse pour añ naka nga amee fay sa school fii si xale naka nga amee xam nga li nga fay sa luwaas naka nga mun a tari boo xam ne saar bu correct la naka la sa concentration di demee si julli bi you've got divided attention so julli boobu yàlla xam ndax dina ko jàpp ndax du ko jàpp so yooyu yëpp suñ kilifa diine war nañ di ko gëstu parce que xam nga jàmma du mun a am fekka nit ñaa ngi xiif jàmma du mun a am fekka nit ñaa ngi feebar jàmma du mun a am fekka nit ñi seen nelaw doyut ñu ngi ragal ne su ma tëddee nelaw kenn dina dugga si kër gi dina ma rey dina rey suma xale dina daanu suma kaw dina sàccali so yii yëpp dafa am solo si dëkk kilifa yi war nañ di ko waxtaane te suñ la jiitalee gënuloo nit ñi la jiital yaakaar moo tax gaa yi jiital la so war ngaa góorgóorlu nga mutal yaakaar boobu te boo demee ba gis ne yow mënuloo ko mutali nga delloo ko ñun ñëpp war nañoo jox ku nekk ciram obviously duma mun a wax ne I would agree with Lamin Tamba li mu wax si jàmm yëpp I would agree with it te Lamin du mun a agree man it suma opinion about jàmm yëpp dina si agree waaye there is a common ground boo xam ne dinañ mun a taaw foofu ne waa fii de agree nañ ci loolu mooy suñ réew mi jàmmi réew mi naka lañ koy doxale nañ gëstuwaat suñ jàngeen yi xale yi nañ gëstuwaat ñu ni neen ni ñooy traitante ni ñooy respectante nañ xool dëkk bi because Gambia soo ko dama dee xalaat ne dëkk bi num tuutee 50 ñaata years over 60 years yow mënuloo dem fen Guinée Bissau bu xam ne barki Dembo Njaay Guinée Bissau ñooñu ay saaku xaalis suñ ko indee Gambia xen na ay $10 $15 la moo nekka léegi soo demee Guinée Bissau mu ngi ëpp Gambia téeméeri yoon Sénégal seen yëpp Gambia la nekkoon barki Dembo Njaay waaye léegi soo demee Sénégal even seen towns yi li fi ñoom sali dëkki ñoom sali recently lañ fa defar ñaata Gambia ñoo dee jógee Gambia di dem foofu weekend o di fa dem holiday ana mënuñoo na defar dëkk bi ba nga xam ne ñeneen yi dañoo jógee yeneen réew ñëw holiday Gambia o nga jógee Banjul ne damaa dem weekend passé o nga jógee parce que nga ne damaa dem weekend Fatoto because ñu ngi fa develop ñu ngi fa def place yoo xam ne soo fa demee sa xol dina sedda di nga génn am fun ak all those things waaye amut te duñ mun a wax ne dëkk bi after all those years because man I remember bi ma doon grow Gambia ak Singapore ñëpp benn lifin bi economic ideology ak political ideology bi lañ amu waaye Singapore léegi mu ngi ni ana Gambia te suñ jógee ñu ne Gambia dëkki diine la of course dëkki diine la yàlla bëggu tilim so àndee tilim da ngay dellu gannaaw rek so in a nutshell dëkk bi noonu la mel am nañ good people am nañ youngsters yoo xam ne seen xel màcc na bugga nañ réew mi so suñ njiit yi dañ war a gëstu ñooñu jox leen an opportunity people like ñoom Dudu Jah ñoom Lamin Tamba duñ fa jee ak ñoom Latir Ka ak others Vicente soo ko gisee Vicente Gomez all the time he is in the Gambian flag anything Gambian mu ngi organize youth organization and all those things why amul the support.
That's right.
So ñii dañ need support pour nga help leen ñu mun a because ñu ngi si grassroots bi you can use people like this pour develop ak propagate nationalism ak patriotism because kër maa ngi seetaan mu ngi indi benn football xam ma sol naka pour waa xale di leen advice even though yéen a ngi bugg a football waaye bu leen neglect seen education bu leen neglect seen responsibility so xale yi at that level you help them so government bi du mun a def yëpp but if you create the opportunity for the people who can do it then dafa nekk waaye soo waxee ñu ne waaw kii dafa ut place bul déglu kii dafa lii kii dafa la kana bugg a place yow soo fi jógee nga dem Gambia how much lañ laa fay ban position even minister liñ laa fay 120 something thousand loolu ñaata lifin la yaa ngi am 3,000-4,000 pounds si weer so loolu ñaata nga am loolu ban position lañ laa jox loolu indi Gambia
no amul
so suñu da nga am place am nga xëy na ñooñu xamul li ñooy wax
jërëjëf Sow I can't thank you a lot enough, to be fair. So jërëjëf Dudu, thank you very much. Sal, I think Sal is good. Ñoom dañu am gente. Mu ngi si ngente bi la nekk Salif Mane. Karamba Inimbara Bake, thank you so much. Dudu, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, jërëjëf. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
Dudu, jërëjëf. Karamba, thanks so
pleasure.
much. I'm honored.
No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice evening. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Thank you. All right, from the Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios, West Yorkshire, Leeds, Stencil Mount. Budon lamola ni jiberalu. The local civic education program o minga so jang kamana Sky Power Radio and TV Services. Yo, wato insonyi na lambe danna janne fo local nala inshallah program o nyinkana de sibiti wo sibiti like botala lulu UK time kata la woro bar bi kacha kono fano de back nga molto de jammi yalanko yakacha kono fanondile be tentulam be jela wo kan momi be wato ta kataram fe molmi program o nyim financial wala ya janjandi wakati na mo jamale ya kalamta because kacha nyim wulta mina kam wolon kamol faham ni kamol kalamta ni civic education isaje sunya role anin tapale yal se talano nyame nyim message na futata mo kilim fula sabala also wol kalamta ni ko min be kere imanya nakela isaje ngalon no nyame be mol be tentulam be jela mol mi wato ta kataram fe be mol be tentula ke je mine program o janjande be mol be tentulam be jela mine comments ning contribution o kiyang dulu jawne inimbara imokende baraka ako atomo seni jawaralde budum wato sunyi na lambe danna janne fo sibit nala inshallah sibit nala ning ale mabe be legal aid team wala sambalana ni ale mabe inshallah Madonna janne follow kunala alimbaral na albade mala Mustafa jamme membe singirim program o kunna fasibit nala inshallah alimbara
you.